not live yet. It says an error occurred. Please try again.
Mid-Topic Podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah!
I open up! FBI, open up!
I'm so glad you made it.
All right, welcome.
Start your weekend. Now take a deep breath and let go. New topics is here, so let it show. It's time to get your dance and your smile on.
You guys ready?
I'm
Yeah.
happy with Nintopics Podcast. I feel like dancing with Nintopics Podcast. It's been a hard week.
Tell me about it.
But I feel better now. It's time to flow with the Nintopics Podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, welcome to the Nintopic Podcast, my friends. It is Friday. The weekend has started because you are now here with us at the Nintopic Podcast. There's no better way to start your weekend than with the laid-back crew, chill crew, positive crew, right? Positive vibes everywhere, right? And I want to see those emojis in the chat if you are excited. Not only for the podcast, but Friday, Switch 2, and all the goodness that's happening around us, right? I know there's a little force fire here and there. Don't worry, we'll put it out. We'll put it out today in the podcast and then concentrate on what's good. Before that, I want to go ahead and introduce the all-star cast tonight, starting with the one, the only, Zelda's mama, Joycey J. What's up, Joycey?
Good evening. I know it's been a rough week, but still, I'm on the hype train. So happy Switchmas week, Switchmas 2, I guess. So
Yes.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad it's Friday. Like, it's been wild.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And I apologize that I'm in the dark, y'all. Texas heat. It doesn't matter that it's April.
It looks nice. Like I like that. It's like you're in a dreams phase with the lights, like the wrinkly lights in the back and everything. So it's nice.
This is like the dream sequence in a Zelda game or something.
Right. All right, and then moving over to Nintendo Switch 2 himself, Paul Gale Network.
Hello.
How you doing, Paul?
What a week it's been. I'm hyped, and I'm ready to talk.
Awesome. And you're excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation next week, the hands-on?
Yeah, I'll be there next weekend, and definitely looking forward to playing it.
That's awesome. It's gonna be
Plenty of pictures and videos, and yeah.
I'm trying to figure out because I'm looking forward to seeing beat 'em ups. He's in New York today. He was in New York for the hands-on to see if they let him record and how much they did let him record inside. Because I know there was a fine print, no cameras allowed. I know you can bring your own phone, and how much can you use to record in a content creator, way. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to see how it went for him, and then of course how it goes for you because then the following week I go
Right.
to Dallas and I meet with Joycey in person.
Cool. That's really cool.
We'll do like a 2-person podcast in front of the Switch 2 presentation thing.
Hey, no, I gotta find out if there's a Culver's close to the place.
For real?
And we'll go to Culver's and we'll have 2-person podcast from Culver's and Paul call in. Yeah, if everybody just call in, we'll make it work.
Man. And then we also have, it's not N61 or 2 or 3, is X64 Josh. And guys, he has a flu today, so please send him your love. I want to see some heart emojis in the chat. Heart emojis for Josh because flu today, still here with us, sharing his love for gaming and Nintendo. So I appreciate you being here, Josh. How are you feeling? Let us know where you're at right now.
It has the flu has taken me out enough. I have yet to make any content about anything that's come out other than just tweeting about it. So, very, very excited to be here, and I've had some interesting conversations on online. But my hype levels, all I gotta say is Mario Kart World, right? Like that's what else do I need to say? Like
Yo,
when the Nabbit, I saw Nabbit in the pipe frame.
yeah.
It was like I just needed to know that my pipe frame was gonna be there. I'm gonna die happy. It's great, you know?
No, we don't need to die yet. Just we enjoy Mario Kart first.
That's right. That's right.
No dying allowed.
Yeah. And then over to our very special guest, all the way from Nintendo Land, the official Nintendo Land, next to Miyamoto. I think he's friends with Shintaro Furukawa, and he lives next to Paul Gale. I think they both mow the lawn for Furukawa once in a while, right? I think Landon does the tree trimming and then Paul does the lawn mowing. Landon from Nintendo Land, how are you doing, Landon?
I'm riding the hype. I am doing great. It's Mario Kart time again. After 11 years of Mario Kart 8, it's time to move on. So I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. It's a lot to talk about.
Thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it so much. We always enjoy when Landon is over, and then he shows his Nintendo love and his insight with all of us. So thank you so much for being here. We have a really good podcast tonight. Yes, guys, we are going to be covering the crisis,
ups and the downs.
I'm gonna say Nintendo crisis, because when I say Nintendo crisis with my little, it's because that was the phrase Nintendo crisis was dubbed by Nintendo ex-employees. We'll be talking about that in a little bit and show a little clip of what the insight they shared with us, because it's very, very valuable. I guess you guys all know them. Their names are Kit and Krista. They released a video kind of explaining the situation that's going on with Nintendo at the moment. We're going to go over it. No need to spam the chat or drop the price, because we got no power over that. All right. But we'll be going over the topic again, as you can see down in the ticker, right? You guys liked the ticker today earlier in the stream. The ticker says non-political discussion on Nintendo Switch 2 crisis. We'll go over it. Thoughts and solutions, because we're all about solutions, right? We're not going to just point fingers of what's going on. We're going to talk about what can they do to kind of ease fans up, and then we can focus on what matters, Nintendo Switch 2 greatness. And then we'll go into Switch 2 hype on the podcast. We'll be under 2 hours today for the entire podcast. So just to let you guys know ahead of time. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and start the podcast.
Okay.
Yay! It's like the calm before the storm. That's what the calm before the storm. All right, so
Can I
explanation time. I'm gonna do a quick recap. Actually, do you guys want to hear the Kid and Chris that recap? Because I think they did a good job recapping the entire thing in about 5 minutes. You guys prefer to do that, and then we can jump into the topic and just gonna take it from there?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and then do the Kid and Krista recap for the situation happening, and then we'll go ahead and then talk about what it means. We'll give you our personal opinions and situation and all that stuff. Let's see here. This is 2 days ago. Reaction to saddened fans. Okay, so I think this is the one. Yeah.
So we have been.
All right, so that's Krista. Let me go ahead and share my screen very quickly. And I hope you guys like the new layout, because I got a new layout for the podcast. Look at right now. This is the new layout. So I hope you guys have noticed. Like we are, it's more squared, but we have also the rounded corners. And whenever I share my screen, we have another layout here. Let's see. Did it work? It didn't work. It didn't work. I think I have to do this. Was it this one? Let's watch. No, that's not it. Is it this one? There we go. That is it. See how you guys like it? Right?
Well done.
All right, thank you. You know, I put this together myself. I did all the coding and everything. I bought the brand website, StreamYard.com, and built the
Sure you
business.
We totally believe that. All of it.
Wait, this is not even. I'm sharing the wrong page too. It's supposed to be the Kid and Krista live stream. Okay, so just can you guys look at it now? Is it showing? Okay.
Now we see it.
All right. So just a disclaimer before the podcast, right? Just a disclaimer before we get into this topic. Just like it says below, at no point here are we going to make any political comments. We're not going to go into the political side of things. We're going to take to all gaming stuff, right? It's going to be straight gaming. I know there's a lot of world issues that affect the gaming world itself, but we're going to try our best not to mix the world, because I know that everybody has their own opinion, and we truly as a podcast value everyone, right? We're not on that train like if you're wrong I'm right, we're wrong, anyway. We're not on that train. We're here to create a good time with you guys, keep everything cool, relaxed, and chill. And yeah, nothing political will be no political commentating or questions answered on the podcast. So everything directly to Nintendo and what Nintendo could do, and you know, progress, positivity, and kindness between each other, right? That's what the world needs right now. A lot of kindness, a lot of positivity. And so let's go ahead and hear what our friends Kid and Krista stated on the stuff here.
All of the pricing as it relates to Switch 2, the hardware, and especially the games. And a lot of people have been asking us, well, how do you think Nintendo is reacting on the inside to what is happening with all the fans yelling about price? So we're going to talk about it here.
Yeah, this has really become the story of the Switch 2 as of today. And again, things are happening so fast, we always have to timestamp these videos.
Yes.
It is 1 o'clock Pacific
Thursday,
time.
April 2nd.
On Thursday. And I was really surprised
April
this
3rd,
morning.
sorry. April 3rd.
I was really surprised this morning when I turned on the Treehouse Live and saw Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and Metroid, which all looked amazing. But every comment in the chat was drop the price.
All caps, drop the price.
The whole duration of the Treehouse Live.
And I thought, maybe they'll do this for a little bit and then you can shift the conversation back to how great these games look, whatever. But no, for the duration of the entire stream, that was it.
Right. And it felt like yesterday this conversation was sort of bubbling up and people were starting to understand the full pricing plan because it was confusing.
Yeah.
And it just exploded today of
really
people being really unhappy about this. And like, I don't want to try and blow things out of proportion, but this does feel like a true crisis moment for Nintendo.
It does. And it's the thing that you don't want to happen when you reveal.
If you want to learn how to edit really well from professional.
Come on. Who puts an ad in the middle of such an important
where in new games you want people to focus on the cool things that you're showing about Switch 2, the cool things you're showing about all these games, and it becomes a crisis when everyone's attention is on this whole other thing and it's giving it a very negative spin. So we're going to talk about sort of what happened. We're going to talk about what Nintendo is likely doing right now inside the company as they wrap their heads around this like becoming a real crisis, and what could possibly happen next. So I guess let's just recap because it's a little confusing.
Real fast, we'll go through what's already happened.
How did this happen?
How did we get to today? Yes. So the Switch 2 Direct happened yesterday. Any pricing information was notably omitted.
Correct.
Some of it appeared later in a press release. Some of it appeared later on the Nintendo.com site. Some of it appeared later on retailers. It was all over the place. There was no one clean place to get pricing information. But as people started to piece it together, it's like, oh, this is a very expensive proposition in terms of hardware, games, accessories, you name it.
Yeah. So obviously it was intentionally omitted from the Direct for a reason, but handled poorly in terms of the information being in all these different places, and you're expecting the fans or the consumer to piece it all together.
And it just shows some disrespect to the consumer, where it's
Exactly.
like, oh, you just saw the direct, you're so excited, you're just going to throw your money at us blindly. You're not going to even ask the question of how much it costs because you're so excited, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a little bit like degrading almost
Right.
to the intelligence of the consumer.
Right, but no, like that is part of the normal shopping process of, oh, I'm interested in something. How much does it cost?
Right.
And now I've had to do all this legwork to piece it together. And guess what? Now I'm mad.
And it's expensive.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's expensive, and you made me do this, and I'm doubly mad.
I'm very mad.
Yes.
So I think there is a little bit of sticker shock around, the $450 price tag for Switch 2, but there is conversation around the hardware price itself, talking about how, in 2025, looking at some of the comparisons, looking at some of the prices, thinking about inflation, thinking about these kinds of things, maybe we can stomach the $450 hardware.
This is always
price
what
tag.
happens. It's like, well, here's the actual price of every piece of hardware
Right.
after inflation, and maybe it's not so bad, but kind of making things very murky in the hardware sense is like this week has been all these talk about tariffs and
Mhm.
oh my gosh, the tariffs, how many percent? And specifically talking about a tariff going to Vietnam and China where the Switch 2 is being made.
Right.
So there's a lot of uncertainty. I've yet to find the very clear explanation
I
of
don't think there is one.
what is the impact on this device. Is this device about to go from $450 to $700?
Yeah.
Nobody really knows that. So there's
Right.
just a sense of anxiety of, oh my gosh, this thing that is already expensive is going to be so far out of reach for most people.
Right.
That's one part of it.
Yeah.
Then there's the software angle,
That's the one part that I think people are even more mad
Yes,
about. is
yes.
The software
which
angle.
again, I think the single most shocking thing out of this whole conversation is Mario Kart World coming in at $80, which is obviously a lot more than Nintendo has ever charged for a game. That's more
Right.
than Sony charges for the latest great God of War, Naughty Dog, like all of
Yeah.
their
AAA prestige
very,
titles.
very expensive, very prestigious titles. It's like, no, we're going above and beyond that. And that is a truly shocking and unexpected thing that, again, they just buried information-wise after the direct.
Yeah, that wasn't even in the press release.
No.
That was actually buried on the website for the
Right.
game. And you have to scroll all the way down, past all of their great trailers, past all the things they want to like market to you about what is great about this
Right.
game. And then you kind of feel like, oh my goodness, are you burying this price?
Yeah.
Because it's high?
Right. So those are the things we know. And then there's slowly been information, trickling out, like these Switch 2 edition games. Like it
Mhm.
sounds like if you want to get a physical edition of the Kirby, plus that expansion, that's going to be $80, or the
Yes.
physical version of the Zelda games on Switch 2. Wait, those are $80 too. But meanwhile, there's still things that we don't know. Like
Right.
how much is the welcome game that should be a pack in?
The tech demo?
That's
welcome
paid,
game?
but
Yeah.
we still don't know yet how much. So it's a
Right.
very murky situation.
Murky.
All right, so I think that's enough there, and they did a good job explaining like the entire, basically why it's why what's happening is happening within the fans, and I like the fact that them being Nintendo employees, right? Then them having all the experience behind the scenes, they're going at it as in this is very justified. They're not really covering it too much and saying, oh, but this could have happened. No, they're actually just kind of understanding the fan out there and the reaction, and because it is a shocking to see, especially from Nintendo, where we all consider the Nintendo the budget friendly way into gaming, right? Compared to PlayStation, Xbox, and even PC gaming, Nintendo has always been that way in for families into the world of gaming, especially with all the amazing IPs, Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, all this together, right? And then all of a sudden, Nintendo goes from being the family-friendly, affordable way into gaming to one of the most expensive in the world, right? With an $80 game that's even higher than the highest AAA game right now out there, excluding GTA 6, which is apparently gonna be $100, So with that, there has been some updates since this was published, and Nintendo, well, they went ahead earlier today and they issued not a direct statement. I have to say, they did their statement through merchants, right? Through retailers, and so we got the official confirmation through retailers like GameStop. I got the first official confirmation I got was GameStop, and then I saw another one coming from Best Buy and so on, right? But then we found out through other means that I would say, oh, is this confirmed, right? Not until GameStop and Best Buy and all the retailers jumped in and said, hey, yeah, Switch 2 pre-orders, at least in the United States. Just to let you know, guys, if you're watching from the UK, you're fine. If you're watching from anywhere else in the world, you're fine. It's just in the United States where pre-orders have been canceled or delayed, and the release date remains the same. So where there's no change there, you know, the release date remaining the same gives us hope. Oh, okay, then it's not all crazy. They're just kind of assessing, and they'll issue another pre-order date. And I'm sure that pre-order date is not going to be too far ahead, you know, because we're still about 2 months away from the June 5th, right? Which is the release date for Nintendo Switch 2. That is everything we know so far on the matter, right? Now, there's a lot being said out there. Because can everybody hear my microphone? Because I'm sometimes it sounds muffled. Does it sound good to everybody?
You're okay. You're good.
Okay. Thank you, Josie. So there's a lot being said out there. There's a lot of different stories, guys. And one thing that I always tell people, listen, if it's not official, don't take it to heart. You know, if it doesn't come from Nintendo, if it comes from a content creator, if it comes from me, right? If I'm giving you my opinion, right, and you disagree with it, don't take it to heart. It's not official news, right? And so I've seen a lot of content creators, a lot of media outlets, bigger and small. They are just telling people, oh no, the prices are going to go up. The price is going to go up. They're going to come back with a $600-$700 console for Nintendo Switch in the US. I'm like, why are you spreading that information? Why are you saying that? Knowing, and then people will mix up, oh, Nintendo delayed the system so they can raise the price. They're not going to say Nintendo delayed the system and this source says they might raise the price. They'll just put it together and say Nintendo said this, and then that'll spread all over the internet and create this chaos and fear among fans when there is no information directly from Nintendo that states that they're going to raise the price, right? I'm going to give you guys my short, very short opinion of this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and then let the rest of the cast chip in. Again, no political information, you know, dig deep. Of course, you can mention this and that, but I feel that the current prices that we see now are already a result of the tariffs. Okay, they are already a result of the tariffs. They have been already announced. They have already been cemented, and so what's happening is that the backlash has a lot to do with why Nintendo decided to take a step back. The backlash from fans. Not only that, there's, like I mentioned in my video, there's three things, right? There is the pricing, there is the backlash from fans, and there are the shareholders. I own Nintendo stocks. I own one Nintendo stock. My one Nintendo stock went down, massively down. I'm like, man, it used to be worth $15. Now it's worth $13. You know, because I own one stock. I'm a Nintendo shareholder, proud member of about one stock in Nintendo, and so it's a combination of the backlash from fans, because just like Kid and Chris have mentioned, they are in crisis mode, right? This is a crisis for them because people are not paying attention to the greatness that's being shown, and it's the price and all the drama is overshadowing what they want us to see, right? A lot of us gamers, we're focused on the games. We know, like us on the cast, we know what's being presented, but the general consumers out there are distracted by what's happening and not paying attention to that which could affect the sales. So, in my personal opinion, again, this is an opinion. Don't take it to heart. I think Nintendo, the current pricing was already affected by the tariffs. They're taking a step back. Okay, if they are taking a step back because of the backlash, because of shareholders, of the share price going down, right? Because of the price being high, they cannot be taking a step back to raise the prices. It just doesn't make sense. They're not gonna resolve a crisis that is caused by a high price, raising the high price even more. In my opinion, there's only two solutions they could be looking at. They might the worst case, they might issue a statement, leave the price as is, issue a statement that says, "Hey guys, this is what's happening due to work conditions. We need to have the prices at this point for a period amount of time because of this," and better explain to the consumer why things are the way they are, which I believe they should have done so beforehand, right? And help us understand, right? Number two, lower the price by $5, $6. You know what I mean? Take a little bit, skim a little bit off their profits, because Nintendo's all about profits, and then make the consumer happy with this a $5 price drop, or even bringing the game to $70. The system is not the issue. People are in general consensus that the system is powerful enough to be a $449 system. It's worth it compared to the Steam Deck and what's out there right now. The whole thing is about the video games. Breath of the Wild being $80. Tears of the Kingdom being $80. Mario Kart being $80. That's where the chaos is. If the games were $70, $69, then I think this would not have been as blown out of proportion as it was. But I think the reason why it is because it's $10 on top of that. And so it's like the rule of marketing. In psychology marketing, you're like, okay, I want to sell my system for $60. How can I make this very, very, very nice looking to people? $49.99. Use the 99 rule to make my product seem very good. Oh my God, that's $40. It's $49.99, but you see the 4 and the $99.99 part. And so that's what's kind of, what do you guys think? Let me go ahead and start with Landon. Landon, what do you what are your 2 cents about on the whole thing? And then what do you think Nintendo could be doing to water over the fire? Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
I hope everything's fine. It's just it seems like a mess right now.
Yeah.
It's just everything. I mean, from the live stream, just like buffering and pausing and them having issues with that, and they go straight into this with the pricing. It seems like this is not how they wanted to start Switch 2, of course, but I think it's just a communication thing mostly. I feel like they're not communicating the basic things, like the fact that there were rumors at all going around. Like you said, we shouldn't be listening to all these other people telling us the prices of things.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to blame them when Nintendo's not giving us the prices of things. Like the fact that we got to go to all these different websites and look at all these different prices from around the world and try to figure out, well, is Nintendo actually going to make us charge extra $10 for physical or not? Because apparently in some regions they are. So I'm like, they need to communicate. They need to just come out and give prices. It's like, I mean, even Kit and Krista mentioned how, I guess at the meeting afterwards, they were telling people don't ask any questions about prices. Like, like they're hiding something. I'm like, why can't you just be very transparent? Let us know how much everything is. I mean, they didn't even give us prices for like the Switch 2 edition of games. They just kind of was like, you're going to have to pay something. And like, just like, I feel like everything in the show, they was like, you're going to have to pay for this. You're going to how much am I paying for this? How much am I paying for that Welcome Tour Switch game, for instance, which is like a tech demo, but I'm paying for that. It just, I feel like if they were transparent and they really told us why, like if they are, like, let's just say like from the very beginning, they did want us to pay $80 for Mario Kart no matter what, because it's that impressive. Then I feel like we shouldn't be waiting 2 weeks to see why it's so impressive for this direct for Mario Kart. They should have showed us out the gate, because right now it looks amazing. I am so excited for this game. It's not $80 for me yet. I mean, and for me to say that this is an $80 game, it's going to have story mode, boss battles, mission mode, extra stuff online, tons of customization. Like they're going to really have to sell this thing at $80. So if that's what they want to do, then they got to really prove it to people. They got to communicate to people why things cost the way they do. But yeah, at the end of the day, who knows what's going on? I mean, it was shocking as heck to see them backtrack on pre-orders and stuff.
Right. That was a moment. It was like, what the? You knew we were into some type of crisis when that happened. Like, oh my God.
I've never seen them do anything like that, so it was a little scary. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
And the world's care. You're like, Armageddon. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, give me a specific question because I'm wrapping my head around everything. But
So basically, give me your thoughts of the overall situation regarding pricing, the cancellation of the pre-order, and what do you think Nintendo could be doing now to kind of address the situation?
Okay. They probably don't like the public outcry being as strong as Kit and Krista mentioned. The last thing they want to see overshadow all the positive comments is one thing spammed.
Mhm.
Then again, anytime you have something that's so huge and mainstream, you're going to get polarizing comments left and right.
Yeah.
And you could see that sometimes it's a vocal minority speaking very loud. And this is kind of what we saw during the whole Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet thing, where everybody was trashing it online. And did it really affect the sales in the end? And no, it's still now like the second, third best-selling Pokemon game of all time. That being said, Nintendo still doesn't want negative publicity, but this could be one of those things where if the system comes out and it's $450 and Mario Kart World looks fantastic and kids and parents and stuff like that are playing it at Target and being wowed by it and going to GameStop and stuff like that, and the thing still sells by the 2s and 4s and 10s of 20s of millions, that could still be very much the thing. But you don't want to risk it and not look at what the people are saying. So I think temporarily delaying the pre-order is a way of, one, seeing how the tariff situation is going to play out, because if that does get put on and the price does go up to $600, putting the pre-orders now in to only then say, hey, by the way, everybody, it's not going to be $450 anymore, it's going to be $600. That would look bad for people to be mad that they put money into something that is more than they were willing to in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just like a reactionary, let's not let pre-orders happen because we don't have confidence and we have a lack of faith that too many people are mad at the price, but it's almost if we allow the pre-orders to happen and the tariffs go down, people are going to be upset that the price uncontrolled by us is more. You know what I mean? So let's play off that. I look at it from a couple of perspectives. And on the other side is, hey, maybe there's something that we could do. What can we do now that's a little bit different? Obviously, there's reasons why they're charging more for certain games. We don't know what was the budget in Mario Kart 8 World. We don't know just how many years, how many hundreds of people worked on it across how many Nintendo studios. And then just everyone's prices go up. The sanitation, the DWP, the electric bill, the rent for the building, the insurance policies, the staff, every bill is going up in every company's business. So, probably just regardless of how big Mario Kart is, just to exist, the company is spending more money than normal. So like that $80 game could very well be justified. And it looks like it might not be every game, just the higher tiered ones.
Yeah.
But we would be willing to say, maybe we could sell it for $70 and sell more than sell it for $80 and sell fewer copies and compensate that way. Could we come out with a new voucher system? Could they say, Nintendo Switch 2, these are still the prices, but now there will be a payment system in place, that you can buy it and kind of like an Apple-esque pay every month for your iPhone over 24 months.
Yeah.
Pay for your Nintendo Switch 2 over 12 months, some kind of designated program. That might be too difficult to implement now, but it's hard to see what the reaction will be. I think things are going to be fine overall. I mean, we don't know, like the tariff situation, will it exactly happen or not? Will Nintendo be able to allocate and go from a different country instead of China, this and that? But
somebody just shared some information that I want to get your opinion on right now regarding that. So it looks like right now, Vietnam is on the table about the tariffs, and they're negotiating a 0% tariff. They're close to having a deal, and it looks like Japan is on the table right now with the United States as well to talk about a similar deal with 0 tariffs. So this could be a thing about, okay, we're negotiating, so let's step back. If we can secure that 0 tariffs percentage, then maybe we could actually restructure the pricing before we charge the consumers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good possibility, and that kind of goes back to, is this $450 price tag because Nintendo was anticipating the tariff being a thing, so this is kind of like rolled into it, or see, the other thing is, like you addressed it, or at least you triggered the thought, we don't know how much each system costs to manufacture. And Nintendo typically wants to make a little bit of a profit per system, whether it's $12, $17, $5, $28, they want to make a little bit of a profit per console.
Yeah.
Could it drop significantly because this was a part of the pre-tariff plan, or is it no? It just really actually costs $413 to make each unit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be fine in the end for those that are willing to pay for high quality entertainment.
Yeah.
How we exactly get there, and will some people be left out? That's going to be up to the individual to decide for themselves. But I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
But it's not an ideal situation of what happened in the aftermath, but it's too big and too strong of a thing that it's not going to not work out somehow. Nintendo won't let it fail. They're not going to let this be Wii U or anything, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. You made some great points, guys. And this is one out there. None of us know for sure whether the tariffs are the real reason for what's happening right now, right? None of us know. We are all just basing on the statements we are hearing directly from retailers and from the statement that Nintendo themselves made, right? So there could be a picture where tariffs have nothing to do with it, right? I somebody told me today that that consumer electronics are 100% exempt, especially when they come into the United States, and are from products that are from the United States, partly produced here, partly produced elsewhere, that are 100% exempt. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's also out there. There's many stories out there, and what we're doing here is to kind of find a way how to, first thing, letting you guys know what's happening around, right, and then to the best of our knowledge, kind of giving people peace of mind of what Nintendo could be doing to solve the issue, and then move forward to the bigger things that the video games and stuff. So with that in mind, Josh, Mr. N64 Josh, I'm guessing that N stands for the Nene, which is the kid in Spanish. 64.
Yeah. Yep. You nailed it. Yeah. It's not a console from 96, I promise.
No. Hey, go ahead.
I promise. So, Mike, there's so much to unpack, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the pricing is where it needed to be. And I think Nintendo, I don't think anybody's saying this, but I think they listened to us and developers, and they gave us the console that we wanted the Switch 1 to be when we all said we want every game on it, right? That comes at a price. Okay? I don't think the price was affected by tariffs yet, because Switch 1, when it launched in Japan, was $220 US, and it's $340 US for Switch 2. So it's a $120 price increase. We're at $150 price increase.
Yeah.
So I think everything is on point for what we wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they had to have conversations internally going, we're not going to sell as many of these at $150 more. Like, it's not as easy to go out and buy Timmy one of these like it was a Switch, a Switch Lite was $200, right? Now, eventually we'll probably get to a Switch Lite or a Switch 2 Lite or whatever, and that's That's going to be great. I think where their biggest issue lied is in the upgrade path. If they had left the upgrades at $10, there would have been no reason to put any game at $80.
Yeah.
They couldn't put Mario at the same price as Donkey Kong and then have have 3 games from the previous system all cost $10 more than their new titles coming out.
Title. Yeah. You're right.
And so okay, that I think is one of the things that people are really getting hung up on, right? Is the software price. So communicate to the fan base about why this, is there a development cost? Is there, we don't know what goes into the upgrades that to make. I mean, I want to replay Breath of the Wild and Kirby, and they look amazing. Is Odyssey going to look the same? Those are free, right? And so I think not communicating to us, everything spread like wildfire. Articles immediately went out saying physical games were $90.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the fact either. That was it
wasn't true, and they could have at least controlled the narrative by just I don't think we've ever seen this before. And so I love everything about Kit and Krista. I just didn't love their take on how it felt like. I don't know if Nintendo's stance was, oh, you're gonna love it, just pay this price. Maybe that is the case, maybe that is the case. But what worries me is when that kind of stuff goes out there with people with that kind of audience, then everybody gravitates to that mindset that oh, they're against me, and that's the thing I find the strangest. It's did you guys have moms that clipped coupons, or if they got charged the wrong price, they thought it was the best thing ever, and it's well, mom, technically you're stealing, right? You're not winning here. It's not, the store is not against you. It's not against Nintendo's not against any of us. They're a business, right? And the amount of people saying, oh, just pirate this stuff, just we all have the option to vote with our wallet for all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is not a way to have a conversation around this without somebody saying you're a shill, or you have to be on the opposite side saying, Nintendo sucks. And it's they gave us what we wanted. It cost more than we wanted. I feel bad for the generation coming up with the Switch 2, that it's not going to be as easy to get it into the hands of children and have them being able to make those memories. But there's still plenty of Switches out there. There's still plenty of games that they can access, and play. It's everybody wants you to have a line in the sand for what this is, and it's none of us enjoy paying more than that, than what we, especially when we come from a console that was $300, then $350. Now it's $450. Yeah, my daughter's looking at me going, when are you gonna pick these up for me? And it's okay, it's gonna take a little while longer,
Yeah.
And
the same thing. I was you know what? I know you want your Switch 2s, but it's going to take a little longer than they with Switch 1. What do you think? Do you think, Josh, they would have, if they knew the price was going to be at a point? Because the price for the Switch 2 is not the issue, I think. $449 for the system that it is great. I mean, we're now playing games like Elden Ring. Street Fighter 6 looked incredible today. I mean, I got that game. I haven't played it. I can't wait. It's on Switch. I'm going to play Street Fighter 6. I'm gonna fight with with Paul as Ryu, and you know, so I was super hyped. Do you think that they could have? Because obviously they do have a light version planned sometime in the future, right? If that's if they're following them out, do you think it would have been a little more better to do what PlayStation and Xbox did? They released the PlayStation 5 and they released the PlayStation 5 digital, and then Xbox released the Xbox Series X and S. They gave us two to choose from, one for the consumer, regular consumer, one for the big gamer. If Nintendo would have done that with this system, giving us two, I mean, they gave us two SKUs, you know, the bundle end, but it would have been better to have a light version off the back for, you know, people to choose from instead of just that one.
Potentially, yes. Like I do think so, and I think the conversation around pricing,
yeah,
could have been a much easier pill to swallow. If you look at all the games that are launching, the prices vary from $40 all the way up to $80.
Yeah.
And if they had said, "Hey, we are doing a very like game pricing is going to be very different this time around," you're going to see more remakes coming in at, you know, $40. You're going to see like there's savings there if you pick up, you know, Bravely Default and then Mario Kart. Like, well, that's, you know, you're sitting at your $120. That's the cost of two normal first party Switch games, right? Like, so I think they could have like lightened the blow. And you know, I see some people in chat talking about like $80 is the first time. It's not. Like Killer Instinct on Super Nintendo at like Toys R Us was $79.99, right? Like I remember in the 64 days, I think Perfect Dark, depending on where you got it, I think it launched at like $90. So like this stuff, it's not super shocking to me. Plus it's all business. So, you know, do I love it? No. Do I love the fact that I can game share now and that there's some other features that are all getting forgotten about because the price is the main topic of conversation? Yeah, they needed to do a better job, especially with how well everything's gone for the last 8 years. Why drop the ball like this on something so important, right? Because all of us wanted to be like celebrating, and you know, like what does the ticker say? Like crisis response, you know, for the for the show, and it's like I'm empathetic to everybody that's frustrated. I get it. I'm not in the camp that's like, yo, these game studios owe me games. Like, no, they don't. Like, that's just not how business works, you know? So,
Neo, $5 super chat. Oh, wait, I just saw the picture. It's actually Neo from the Matrix. Good job on that. Thank you for the super chat. I said, I hate the idea of game key cards, rip physical games. Now Nintendo found a way to take away games you pay for physically network outage, can't play. That itself needs some clarification because physical games, Nintendo mentioned, they're not going away anywhere. They're just replacing those digital cards they used to sell for video game specifics and giving you a physical way to download your digital game. So a key card, when you buy a key card, is only a license, right? And the license comes inside an actual cartridge, right? It's like a key, like an actual key. You go insert the cartridge and download the game like you normally do digitally, and that key will just unlock the game for you to play, right? So the key works doesn't work from the network. It works from the key. The key will verify the game. So you don't need to be online to verify the game. That key itself, the license, will verify your downloaded game and you can play it, right? This is just another way Nintendo is providing that is saying, hey, we want to make sure that even when you buy digital, you can buy and sell or trade your digital game, because all you have to do now is that same digital key card, you can give it to somebody else to trade it. I want to sell to Paul for $5. Here, Paul, take the key card, and then he can download the game on his Switch, a digital game, download it, take the key card, insert it, and play the game, right? And it's all digital. The physicality is not going away. They're just presenting, and at least they're actually thinking about ways to, it's a digital world. Add some physicality to it, right? Like add something that is still physical, something you can still buy that's tangible. It's still selling, and but I can empathize with what you're feeling, right? We are all going eventually. It's gonna be a digital future, right? It's what it is, right? But for now, at least we know that Nintendo is trying to keep some physical form to the key thingy, to the key card. Anybody want to ask one to this?
Well, I haven't even gone yet.
Oh yeah, I'm saying on the super chat.
Oh,
all right. So, Joey, you wanna add to the super chat, Paul?
I just like it. Yeah, it's like you said, one more way to have a little bit of physical nature. If you buy digital games purely because you like the convenience of not having to go over to your entertainment system, pick something out, put it in, pick something out, put it in, then probably you don't need this. But if you like the idea of having most of your game digitally, but be able to sell it later, that is something that you can't do with digital. So here's the alternative.
Yep.
It's fine. Yeah.
All right, so Joyce J. So the crisis, right? This is what Chris and Chris are calling it. Everything happening with the price point. How do you think Nintendo's handling it right now? How are you handling it? How Nintendo's handling it? And what do you think could be happening behind the scenes that they be thinking about to put a Band-Aid on it at least?
I got a lot of thoughts, lots and lots and lots of thoughts.
Get that umbrella.
Say what?
Get that umbrella out.
I know, seriously. So for one, as far as what Nintendo's doing internally, I'm not going to, of course, point the finger because there's plenty of blame to be shared, not on the gamers' part, but on World Events and Nintendo. Yeah. I kind of agree with what everybody already said. So inside Nintendo, because first of all, to touch on what Josh was saying, this is the system we asked for. Mm-hmm. We said we have to have more power. We've been crying for more power, or at least majority of us. So they give us more power. So I think with World Events and everything, I think that's what's kind of freaking them out. Like, okay, what do? We tried to work all of this in anticipation of World Events. So having said that, I know some people feel that it's a cash grab, that Nintendo is just trying to gouge prices. And I understand, because of the reputation that Nintendo, I believe, has been trying to shake is, you're just a kids company. You make kids games, you don't make powerful systems. That's not Nintendo's thing. And typically it isn't. But I think it's because of the major success of the Switch. They said, we found the winning formula. We're just going to put some extra bells and whistles on it, and it's going to cost more.
Yep.
Because that's what we asked for. Nobody blinks an eye when a PlayStation is $500. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually pretty reasonable. So there's all that. And we also know that we're going to get quality from Nintendo. Quality meaning that your stuff is at least going to work until your Joy-Cons don't, and then you have to send them in and they send you a new pair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So having said that, everyone has every right to feel however you want to feel. Whether you care or don't care, whether it affects you or doesn't affect you, regardless of what your political beliefs are, we're all unified family, and as gamers, we're all gamer cousins here.
Yep. I love that.
What angers me, I think, the most is how much the basic cost of living is in the United States. Mm-hmm. And that's something that makes me very, very, very angry. I think on some level, we can all agree it makes more sense. Cost of basic living should be reasonable or low. Entertainment should be high. It feels kind of almost like, I got to pay $80 for eggs, and I got to buy, $300 for a gallon of milk and everything else. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but we got to pay all these high prices just so I can make breakfast. And Now, when it rains, it pours. Now I got it just so I can have a little escapism. Now that's going to be a whole bunch of money. I feel y'all so much. And you have every right to feel that way. And you should feel that way. And no one should tell you to feel bad for feeling that way. Or if you're totally fine with it, you shouldn't feel bad for that either. Here's what it boils down to. This is a need. This is a want, not a need. No, I promise you, none of us will die if we do not get our hands on a video game console. Yep. I promise you, that's not going to be the cause of death. And because of that, you can decide. It boils down to one question: do you want to Switch 2? That's it. We don't have to. You don't have to question morals or politics or anything. Do you want one? And if the answer is yes, you don't have to justify it, feel any way about it, and then you decide on how you would like to obtain your console. This isn't. I'm not shilling for Nintendo or anything of that nature. This is unfortunately what we're looking at. I had anticipated the price was going to be really high. I had anticipated that I didn't anticipate $80 games, but I anticipated that things were going to be much higher, and I prepared for that. But again, I had to prepare for that. I've been saving since like the Switch Pro rumor days. So while I was shocked about $80 games, the rest of it didn't shock me as much. So all I want to encourage other people to do is, I really hate that this happened and the way it happened, the way this rolled out. Again, I'm going to make my plea to Nintendo. Let me do your marketing. This never would have happened. Ever. Even with what's going on, I would have at least said, please, wait for information on pricing, blah, 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 blah. Stay tuned. I would have done something of that nature. But at the end of the day, guys, you decide what you want to do with your entertainment dollar. It should not be wasted. It should not be spent frivolously. It's completely 100% in your hands. So I'm hoping the prices won't go up, or if anything, I'm hoping that Nintendo has some kind of program where it's like, please, buy this with your Nintendo account. So if tariffs go down, we can issue refunds. That would be fabulous, right? Believe it or not, as an insurance company, we sometimes have to do that when rates were too high for previous years. So anyway. So that would be great. I would also feel great about the system flat out $500, but games go back to either $69.95, $59.95, $49. And to me, that's still fair. The other thing is, I think if this were up to me, if I really did do Nintendo's marketing and I was on vacation this week and I came back to this dumpster fire, if this was me, I think the best solution in this case for Nintendo is fall on your sword. Fall on your sword and let the consumers know we truly apologize for all of the miscommunication and non-communication during the Switch 2 reveal. We wanted this time to be special for our fans and new gamers alike. With constant changes in the market and in the world, we were unsure of, not even we were unsure. We did not have a solid pricing down, and we should not have let this get out of hand. We will come out to you with pricing and the reason in a direct in a few days or something of that. Say something.
Yeah.
Okay? So because again, Nintendo, I'm going to say this to Nintendo. You have everything to lose. We don't lose anything. So that's another thing to think about, guys. You don't lose really anything. You may not be able to get the system the day you want, or the game, or a certain game at the time you want, because we're going to have to rebudget all of this, obviously. But Nintendo built up too much hype over years and did a lot of more smart things, if you will. They made a lot more smart decisions. Not all of them were the greatest, but a lot smarter decisions to let all this just fall this hard. So I am hoping for, I should be able to expect, but I'm hoping for more communication next week and an apology. And we know that Nintendo don't like to apologize, but they had to do that for Pokemon. And I think they do it for this one. And because you fall on your sword and make that little tech demo game, pack that in. Okay. and let it be
For real.
something that we can download. There's your apology, and we're all back in love, and everybody's back on the hype train, and not just me.
Yeah.
And as for me, like I said, I planned for this. I'm not a shill, but I know what I like. I'm going to continue to budget and buy the things that make me happy. Life is very, very short for us to not have at least a couple of the things that we want.
Yeah. Great point. Thank you so much, Josie, for sharing. Before we get into super chat and before we go into the next topic real quick, I just want to go ahead and shout out N64 Josh. He has the flu, and so he's not feeling too well right now. Having some breathing and have big horrible cough. He wanted to be with us. He was with us for the first hour of the podcast, so he had to just step away and get some rest. So I want to shout out N64 Josh. Please go ahead and follow and subscribe to N64 Josh on social media, on his YouTube channel, and show him love. Send your prayers and your thoughts with him so he can feel better very soon. I think he's been with this like for a month now. So yeah, he's dealing with the flu when his flu sucks. So yeah. So thank you so much.
Out once.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, never again. I don't want that.
Yeah. So thank you, Josh, for being here, man. Even though you have the flu.
Already.
Yeah. Shout out Neo again. Once with the 5. Thank you so much for your support. Nintendo should just increase the NSO price service and leave the game price at $70. See, that's exactly what I mean. People were expecting $70. So if they would have just done $70, I don't think it would have been that crazy. People, like I said, $449 for the system we're getting. Like Joshi said, we asked for it. We wanted a more powerful system, bigger screen. We have AAA titles now. I don't mind paying more for online for cheaper games. That's a great point. Like step back, allocate to see where we can rearrange our pricing so that the company as a whole can still be productive and so I actually like that there. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat one more time. And with that, let's go ahead and jump in really quickly to a recap of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and share here. The star of the show is this man.
The fro is legendary. Okay.
Bob.
When I don't straighten my hair, that is what my hair looks like.
Bob Ross has returned to us, and we are extremely happy. The chat during the presentation today could not stop talking about it, could not stop loving. This guy should be the face of Nintendo Treehouse. We should get plushies. We should get plushies and everything, right? Look, people like Bob Ross, we love you. So I mean, not only that does he look like Bob Ross, but you also have that calm demeanor of the cool energy that he was letting out during the presentation. So it was really cool. And so let me go ahead and just click play here because why are we getting an ad for Nintendo inside of Nintendo ad? This doesn't make sense. An ad for Nintendo inside of Nintendo ad.
Double advertisements. Save
yeah. So with that, I want to go ahead and send it over to the great Paul Gill Network. Paul, what are your first thoughts on this incredible game that we still don't know everything about yet?
Mario Kart World itself looked and still looks amazing and continuously is looking better and better.
Yeah.
I think the game is so fresh, so big. It looks so ambitious. Everything from the colors to how fast it is, the increased polygon count, the facial features, how much there seemingly is to do, how expansive it is, the online play, the weapons, the ability to go everywhere. On one of these podcasts, I made a thought a long time ago, like, what if the next Mario game was so big that the next Mario game was Mario and Mario Kart in one, like where you ran around as Mario going through platforming and all that stuff in this giant world, and you found an area which then you would race in and stuff. But that was like, that sounds like a little bit too big, because then you couldn't sell a Mario game and a Mario Kart game, right? But like that would be kind of like emulating the Mario movie. This is grand big universe, and then the Mario Kart is a portion in it. Not that they did that, but they made a big old world that you could ride around slowly in and just have a scenic route. And who knows how many hidden tracks are in this open world that you and buddies could just say, hey, let's go off-roading, just not race and just have fun and take pictures. So it kind of is a little bit of what I thought could be cool. And that kind of goes back to my earlier point, not to harp on, well, how much did this cost Nintendo to make, and how many years of development, and how many tens of millions, if not a couple $100 million was this budget for them to say, we got to make some money back, you know? But regardless of that, like I said, it just looks so much fun. I love all of the different characters, the power-ups. Some of the power-ups are giving me, you know, Mario Kart Double Dash vibes of the uniqueness and the creativity, the colors, pop, the day-night cycle. Like, that adds another visual flair to the track, the course. I mean, even if it doesn't have a grip of courses, different times of the day, different weather effects does change the ambiance plenty. Like, one of my favorite stages in the courses in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the Animal Crossing one. You got to play it in 4 different modes, remember? Fall, spring, summer, winter, I think. And that was really cool. So I can't rave enough about this. And that's even before going into the game chat options. I think that's just cool. That's a neat Nintendo way of doing things. And that's replicating couch co-op that a lot of us had back in the day with our buddies from our neighborhood or school or whatever. Like, yeah, you could FaceTime with friends, you could Zoom and Discord with friends, but like, there is something different to having it on the system or adjacent with this, you know, game chat camera. I think it's cool. Looks like we're going to have cart customization, costumes per character. This is definitely a strong launch game because one is the sequel essentially to the best-selling Nintendo game of all time, almost, you know, packed in sometimes, whatever. Like Mario Kart 8 was a hit. And yeah, I think it looks so good that when enough people play it and enough people have put in 300 hours, let's say they put in 300 hours over these couple of years. When you're having fun and when you're laughing and stuff, will you go back and say, man, these 300 hours were really good, but it would have been a lot better if I paid $10 less?
Mm-hmm.
Or will you not see that value and say, the $300 hours were just great, but it would have been better at 70? Like, at that point, maybe some will. But like I said, I don't want to get into prices too much because though I'm not itching to pay $80. I'm not like, I can't wait to pay $10 more than I thought. I can also understand why. And I know me when it comes to fun and entertainment, when I'm having a great time, I'm not going to say, dang it, it would have been a little bit better if I paid 12.5% less. Not going to impact. To each their own, though, and that's fair and that's fine. But the game looks awesome. Love it. This is an easy buy. And personally, even though I like my physical medium, I'm opting for the $500 version of the Switch 2 because that's a $30 saving. And that's just, you know what? Also, it makes sense. Like, if I'm going to have one game on the system at all times, it's going to be something like this that I'm going to just want to hop back into play due to that nature and be that like, I don't need to swap out this cartridge. It's just on the system. It's okay. Most of my library will be physical, so
and it makes sense to get the. It makes sense to get the bundle, like you said, because you save a lot of money. You save a lot of money, and so yeah. So what do you think, Joycey?
So I am not a Mario Kart fan. Landon, please still be my friend. I'm a Splatoon girl. You know, I get off of a hard day's work of explaining, you know, professional liability, and I want to, you know, shoot paint at things. However, we can't deny this looks absolutely gorgeous. This looks like fun. In fact, from now on, all of our behind the scenes like podcast meetings are going to be done in Mario Kart World from now on. That's how we're going to make decisions, Mike. When we disagree on something and we need like a deciding factor, this is how we're going to settle things. Yeah. There you go. Now, I love that you said about Splatoon because that's a super incredibly colorful game, right? Mm-hmm. How this game looks. How much more excited are you for Splatoon 4? I was always hyped. I never got off the hype train. I've been on the hype train since the NX days. I never got off. That's why I always have to clean the hype train after every single but seriously, the colors pop so well. I'm really excited to see online because it will give me an idea of what Splatoon is going to be.
Good point.
And also I believe now y'all forgive me, as much as I play Splatoon, I play specifically for the online. I really don't play for the story, even though I know from what I've heard in Splatoon, you know, communities, the story's great and there's a lot of lore and everything. So I'm anticipating there's going to be some serious changes in Splatoon 4 because 3 and 2, Splatoon 2 and 3 are entirely too similar. Not bad, it's just too similar.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's kind of like, okay, and I understand why it's similar, but next time switch it up a little bit. It doesn't mean we have to change the basic function, but switch it up a little bit. But Mario Kart looks amazing. Every generation, I've told you guys this before, since, you know, SNES, oh, it's never going to look any better than this. And then the N64 days, it's never going to look any better than this. Wii and Wii U, oh, nothing's ever going to look better. Okay, so I'm going to stop saying that now.
Yes, I feel the same way.
So, and I will be getting the bundle as well because I'm like, well, wait a minute, I get an $80 game basically for $50, and I need the system anyway. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna do that.
Exactly. I'm with you because I'm like, man, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks fantastic. How are they gonna improve it? They're like, okay, I'll be quiet now.
And I'm sorry, real quick, I have to say this. I know we're not there yet, but I have to say this. I will be getting Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom 4K physical edition because, and I want to tell y'all right now, I already have. Mike, you even teased me about how many copies of each of those games I have.
Yeah.
Okay? Tease me about that. And I still have some of those copies that aren't open. I haven't even opened my special edition ones, and I'm still going to get the special edition version for Switch 2.
So they're coming physically too?
Yeah.
Oh,
you can choose. No, but if you're an NSO member, you can get the upgrades, I think, for like $10, and you can start the game over in a brand new save file. What I am doing is not reasonable behavior. Okay. I'm getting it because I am a Zelda fan, and that's just how I do things. Y'all remember, I'm the same chick that bought a Zelda Lite, and I have not opened the box. Okay.
We're in the same boat. I have it right there too. I haven't opened it yet.
I'm buying it for collection purposes only. That is the only reason. But I'll be updating, and then I'm going to spend another $10 because then I'm just going to update the games I already have. So this is now. See, guys, this is when it's not reasonable behavior. Okay, so I'm letting y'all know. I'm very aware of that. But Zelda.
All right, so Landon, Mario Man here. Listen. We didn't get Mario. We didn't get a 3D Mario. I know it's out there, but we haven't seen it. How now with Mario Kart, with the absence of Mario from the presentation, because I was super shocked that it wasn't there too. I was looking forward to it, man. Like, and how does this game Mario Kart look to you? And seeing how the scope of this game and maybe what they show, right? What are your expectations for that 3D Mario?
Well, I probably am when I finished the direct, I was actually more mixed with everything.
Yeah.
I think I was one of the few people that kind of was like, I was so excited about some things, but some things just left me really mixed. But
yeah, I
think I can confidently say like that was the best start to a direct I've seen in a while. This game looks amazing, dude. I fell in love with just the colors are all popped. I mean, like it's almost like a mixture of the DLC courses with that big, the colorfulness, but also with the graphics of base Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
and it just looks so good. I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's everything that I could have dreamed of. And then how much I talked to you right before the direct. How bad I want an open world Mario game. Kind of in a way getting that right now.
For real.
And it gets me excited because you see all these you see wildlife made in the image of Mario. Like you see like these cows, giraffes on the prairies, and the zebras, rhinos, and stuff walking around. It opens up my mind for what they're going to do with like the actual 3D Mario. And
for real,
I just can't wait to just drive around and free roam. I love free roam idea. Just
Look at the water. Look at the water.
everything. I know it's amazing. You literally can go anywhere, and it opens up something new for Mario Kart, which we had something to do other than just racing online, racing with your friends. You could just at night jump on, go throughout the city at night, and just cruise.
Yeah,
it's just everything about that's so awesome to me. But I do have a couple I hope is coming with this game. Like, for instance, the open world, I really hope there's a lot to do with it, because as much as I am going to love just driving around, I still want there to be a reason for me to be driving around. Little challenges they could throw out. It does look like there's going to be some things. I've been analyzing every frame of the treehouse. So I've seen the little map. There's little piece switches that you can collect. There's a counter for that. There's a counter for some special Peach coins, and also some costumes in each area. There's a costume counter. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff to do. They even said in the show, this is only a snippet of the open world area. In the treehouse or in the direct coming up, they're going to really show you what else you can do. So that excites me that there's something that they're really hiding. And if they're having a direct, I mean, I'm sure there's some really good stuff here. So I'm hoping for maybe even a story mode, kind of like Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, yes.
So with some maybe boss battles from the DS game back then, maybe some missions and stuff you can do in the overworld. But besides that, my only other thing I really hope is there's an option to just race on the tracks without having to always do the in-between tracks, because I feel like a lot of the time it did look like they were just driving straight. There's a lot of straightaways. There's a lot of highways where there's just long periods of just, moving to the next track. And I saw in some, you would do 2 laps of just driving there, and then the last lap is just one time around the actual track. And I was like, I kind of just want the option maybe sometimes just to drive around that same track 3 times like the classic way. I'm sure there will be. But other than that, I mean, I'm just blown away. Some people are getting upset about the characters. This is awesome. I don't care. Let me drive as a bat. Let me drive as a snowman.
It's
a cow.
A cow. This is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted,
the cow was the star of the show. I'm like, what the heck? I want that cow.
I'm somebody that always races as Mario because I just don't care. I need Mario. You give me all these characters. This is the first time I'm going to be like, you know what? I kind of want to race as a snowman. I want to race as the cock door from Mario 3D World, the little bird. So I'm like, this is awesome to me. I have no complaints with that.
And traditionally speaking, doesn't Mario Kart get new characters anyway?
Yeah, and it's just
so this is just the intro roster. This is this isn't even all the characters.
And that's what kind of scares me though, because if this game is $80, they're probably planning DLC. So we're probably going to be paying more for more tracks and more characters, because I still think they're going to also do kind of what they did in 8, is maybe bring some other Nintendo characters over, like Kirby. We might see just a couple guest stars. So I'm here for the DLC though. I'll just keep this game alive for the entire duration of the Switch 2. I mean, this is a perfect launch game, a perfect start.
You know what I think though? I have a suspicion, and there's nothing. This is just my thought process. There's nothing out there saying this. I wonder for these higher games, especially the multiplayer ones, because I'm now expecting Splatoon 4 to be $80. I'm wondering if they're going to include the DLC now. Because typically when it comes to consoles, Nintendo just kind of started doing DLC really with the Switch. Not that they've never had extra content before, but I'm talking about specifically with the Switch. I wonder if now they're going to include it so they can also justify the $80 mark.
That would be smart, considering the fact that, when you look back at the Switch, they had DLC almost for most of every major title except for Mario Odyssey. Everything was getting paid DLC. So that would be a good justification.
So see, that to me, that would be a good investment. That's a really good way to fall on your sword and apologize a little bit.
For sure.
Because, and then also it keeps the game alive. And I would expect the same for Splatoon 4. If I pay $80 now, but I don't get nickeled and dimed to death over 5 years, then I'm actually really okay with that.
Exactly. Yep.
Look at the drivers. Okay, this is right now we have 20. There's more drivers here. Okay, because there's some missing, but at least we see the 23 drivers that are here. We start. Peach has always been there. We have Hammer Bro. Rosalina's been there. Yoshi, Wario, Shy Guy, Penguin. We got the Penguin from R64. Toad, Pauline, Toadette, Waluigi, Baby Rosalina. We got Cheap as a driver. Monty Mole. You let me know if these drivers were in the other Mario Kart before, because I don't remember. Fishbone, the Snowman from R64 is also there. Charging Chuck, Peepa. You know, there's a lot of drivers in this game, and I the fact that it's called Mario Kart World, I have a suspicion that I think that they're gonna be introducing new drivers, you know, in a Smash kind of way. To the
I was gonna say something real quick because you made me think of something.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it kind of ties into something that Landon was saying a little bit earlier. That it's kind of like, you know, you want to go certain places, but it seems like certain places are a little empty and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's stuff that's edited out on purpose, because every time Nintendo, because it's like Breath of the Wild all over again. I was so stuck on the tree houses. Like I watched that, like that was primetime TV, just sitting there glued to the TV. And then after a while, after about like, I don't know, 8 hours or whatever it was, I was like, okay, they're either showing too much or this game is starting to look like it's not as big as it was, because they kept taking us to these jump to different places on the Great Plateau. But then when you got the game, it's like, oh, so that was less than 1% of the entire game. And I have all these surprises and all these new characters to meet and all this other stuff to do. And Nintendo's good about that with their games. So I'm wondering if they're purposely editing out things or they're purposely hiding things. So when you get the game, you'll be 10 times more delighted than you are even now.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a direct happening. So if they have a direct specifically for the game, I'm guessing they're going to go ahead and show it. They have to go all out at this point. They can't hold anything back, because if they're not going to change the price, they have to let people know, hey, look at this. Because right now, I feel like this is a much bigger Mario Kart game than any other previous one. And if they're still holding more back, who knows, right?
Because some of the main players aren't even in there. I'm sorry, but I can't play anything without Link in it. I feel Where's Link? Where's the Master Cycle? These are questions that I have. Okay, anyway, I'm just kidding. I know I believe he's coming though.
You're right, though. That's what I'm saying. That we have a whole bunch of characters like Cheap. We have a fish driving a cart. You know, where's his legs? How does he press the gas? How does he sit? I'm trying to figure out how he sits in the car. You know, super chat here, Andrew Bright. Well, thank you so much. When I buy Nintendo first party games, it's going to provide me with hours of fun, including my kids. Me personally, I don't mind paying Nintendo a first party surcharge. I mean, yeah, a lot of us feel the same exact way. You know, it is, especially Mario Kart. You can now you only need one game per household, because you can share that game with all of your family members. And when you're playing each on your own console, you can stream. Is it streaming? You stream the game to the other console, right? And you're playing it. Is that how they're doing it? Because they didn't explain too much how they did it. You just kind of, your friends and your you know, I'm guessing it's like a streaming kind of thing, right? You enter a code or whatever. I don't know, but I know you can play with somebody. That person doesn't have to buy the game anymore, you know, which I think it's a combination of everything. At least with Mario Kart being $80, I think it's a combination of everything. They say, okay, so we're not gonna sell as many copies maybe because now you can, you know, you only need one copy per household, and we have a lot of people who will just share that game with somebody else. Before Paul and I, if we want to play together and we were neighbors, we needed to each to have our copy of Mario Kart. Now I can go to Paul's house, bring my Switch, and I can use his copy, and we can still play each on our Nintendo Switch systems. So that could be related to why the system, you know, the price is what it is. But in any case, you 100% right. It's about the memories in the end, right? And Cosmic 23 199, thank you so much for that super chat. The Switch 2 will have a Piranha Plant camera. Yeah, you saw that, right? You guys saw that?
Yes.
Who's it made by?
I don't know.
But yeah, it's gonna be cheaper than the camera from Nintendo. Same quality, and all that stuff. So yeah, just to let you guys know, Paul has to step out for just a minute. He'll be back later on. So just he'll be with us here. So yeah, Mario Kart looks incredible. I love it. I can't wait what they're gonna say on the direct and the 17th. The big question is, will they be tempted to bring that direct closer to us, right? To say, you know what, the direct's gonna be now next week instead of, just so that people can see the scope of Mario Kart, because right now it is bigger than it's ever been. There's so much that if they have to dedicate an entire direct to the game, there's still much more that they have to show us, right? And I agree with Landon. I hope they do have like a kind of like a story mode to add to the game. That'll be.
I feel like this game's going to be packed. You know what?
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, Landon, because again, I'm not a Mario Kart fan, so I don't know all the lore and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When I think Mario Kart World, I think what we've been joking about with the movies, the Nintendo universe. Is it possible this could be like almost like the Smash version? We're just going to go to different lands. We're going to go to Hyrule and pick up Link and Zelda. We're going to go.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know who else is in Mario Kart that has a world.
Unlocking characters by racing them.
There you go. Something like that.
That'd be great.
What? Because I thought to myself, a perfect way for DLC, because this is all just on an island. I mean, they could just go off to another island and say, okay, here's a Hyrule island. Here's a Dreamland island for Kirby and stuff. So I think that'd be the perfect way to do DLC, and then they could just like slowly reveal a character, kind of like Mike said, as like a Smash Brothers thing. Like, this could go on for years. Here's Link, here's Zelda, here's like the Triforce pack, here's the Kirby pack, and that would be perfect. I'd love that.
And then do it like Smash. I mean, just throw everybody in there. I don't even know what the last roster was, but yeah, give Bayonetta some wheels. Throw her in there. Just put everybody in there.
For real.
I'm here for it.
Real.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Mario Kart. How about we jump over?
Can we talk about Hyrule Warriors yet?
I want to talk about Hyrule Warriors because I might make Joycey mad.
That's that is the next game we're heading forward towards. I'm gonna get the.
You all are about to witness the breakup of a friendship.
Let's see here. Where is it? That's not it. There is the Hyrule. Oh, there it is. There it is. Here we have the Hyrule Warriors. I mean, this is the thing. We all saw this coming, right?
I didn't, honestly. That's why I was so excited.
I 100% saw it coming.
Yeah,
I didn't think it would be here though.
Yeah, me too. I saw it coming. I didn't think it would be so soon.
Like I made a couple months ago, I actually made a whole prediction video. I even hired an artist to make a title like logo for it and everything. And I like predicted how this would go, and I just didn't expect it to be in the Switch 2 direct.
I thought when I saw this imagery, I thought DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, more an expansion, to the game or whatever. And I'm like, and then then I saw they were talking about Zelda and her side of the story. Okay, this is Hyrule Warriors.
But this is also a game we asked for.
Yes.
Because of a few different reasons. First of all, I'm gonna keep it real, and I've said this before, so I'm gonna get on my and Andrew Brightwell is correct. It is reported as canon. So, but I've said before, like, I want to know how did all this work, because it drives me crazy that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom they don't connect the way a sequel should. And as a heavy reader and writer, y'all know that drives me absolutely nuts. And then there's other little things that there were just certain things that I'm like, Nintendo, what are you trying to like not say, but is extremely obvious? Are you trying not to get into adult themes? Because nothing overly mature had to happen for us to just say, yes, Link and Zelda are 20 something. Yes, things are happening in whatever. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox about that. But certain questions, they have an opportunity because Koei, I can never say it right. Koei Namco, I never say it right. I think they do really well with the warrior stories. Even the first Warriors, which they made completely on their own, didn't pick up off of any of these. They it was a great story. It combined all the stories. It made the lore make sense. It's almost like Nintendo should have just grabbed that and said, yeah, this is totally what we always meant, but whatever. But I'm excited for the simple fact that the story is going to be good. A lot of love goes into the Warriors games, and you can feel it when you play. And I appreciate the love that these that my favorite series gets, of course. So I'm excited. And my personal speculation is, because I heard a few people say, well, how are we going to play a Hyrule Warriors game without Link? Well, Tears of the Kingdom Link may not be there, but if you got a certain outfit in Tears of the Kingdom, there's another hero that might be there. And I'll leave it at that. Since we all got to play it again in 4K, 80 frames per second, or whatever the heck it is. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, this could technically be the second Zelda-led game, because we had Echoes of Wisdom which was led by Zelda as a playable character, and maybe that game was introduced because we know that we're getting Imprisoning War, right? This one, Hyrule Warriors, where Zelda is the main character in the past. Of course, you can play with other characters, but she's like the lead character who's leading everything in the past. So maybe that's maybe we won't get Link this time.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just got really excited. What if all my Zelda fans? What if the game opens up with Cass saying, "I found another song from my teacher of the past. Let me sing it to you." That's all I need. I just need to know that Cass is okay, and then I want to hear the little baby girls in the background chirping and singing. I need that. I miss. You don't understand. I miss Cass. Like, that's my uncle went missing.
Hopefully, we get to see the love story of Rauru and what's her name again?
No, I just want to kill Ganon again. He's fun. He's fun to kill.
Well, yeah, you will defeat him, and then at the end, this guy will sacrifice himself and then just trap him. But I wonder, are they gonna pull a Age of Calamity on us and give us another timeline where are they gonna pull a, because apparently
that's a good question, actually,
right?
The only thing I could think of is, since it's canon, then we low-key know how it ends. All the champions, all the ancient sages die.
Yeah.
And then we seal Ganon, and then we fight him again. So yeah, that's interesting. But I think this is just going to focus on the Imprisoning War part, and it's the story that's going to be interesting. But I don't know. But it's Zelda, so I'm excited.
Game looks incredible though. Look at that. It's just amazing, right? We Age of Imprisonment. They just did that name to go against the one we were suggesting. That's all they were doing there, right?
Just call it the Imprisoning Wars.
Yeah.
Why did you not call it the Imprisoning? You told us about it 20 times in the game. I think I tweeted that the other day. I don't remember. I said something like that. I said Nintendo wants to tell us about the Imprisoning Wars again.
Yeah, look at Geo. Geo. Oh, wait. Drop the price. Wait. That's not the right stream.
Wrong stream. We celebrating over here now.
I think this game looks awesome. I know I left for one moment, but
yeah.
After Mario Kart, there wasn't anything in between I missed, right?
No, we went from Mario Kart to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I begged. I said, please, can we talk about Hyrule?
Come on, Paul. What are your thoughts on Age of Imprisonment?
Super cool. I can't get enough of it. Oh, this shot right here is a perfect time for me to answer. I wonder if that's probably just a cinema scene, but will there be some type of free roaming, walk around, non-combative moments where you could just be Princess Zelda and explore around? Because I would like that. I would like a little bit of Princess Zelda. It doesn't have to be like the entire Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild map. No, but just like Princess Zelda in an area to explore and lay out some foundation of how Hyrule and stuff like that's going to be, and put some things for Link to find years down the road, or, like that shot in particular, I was like, could you be playing in this or not? But the game itself, regardless of the speculation or the extra want, looks really cool. Definitely a big bump in graphics and fidelity, and the frame rate looks very smooth from what we saw. So I'm hyped. I'm pretty excited. This is Zelda in a year, Metroid in a year, Donkey Kong in a year, and Mario Kart in a year. Wow, what a 20!
And that's not even the 30.
That's strong. And Kirby.
That's not even the third party. That's not even the third party. That's just the Nintendo games.
You see, today when I saw the Kirby game is $80, right? The Switch 2 version.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought
you're paying $60 plus a $20 DLC, in which the DLC and the more story is part of that 20. Part of that 20 is also going towards the original game being bumped up.
That's it.
I wasn't in the mic. Thank you.
That was a karate sneeze.
So yeah, you could make. I mean, you could always make the argument like that's $60 plus $20 for a DLC. Yeah, the game could have been reduced this whole time because it's older, but it never was. So it's the same value that it's always been for the last several years that Kirby and the Forgotten Land has been out. It's just $20 more now.
Yeah, and when I was looking at the game today, I said, you know what, this game is worth it because it's $60 plus you get the $20 edition, a brand new story. It's the same big map, but you get a completely different world. The enemies look even better. They have different attacks. They're stronger. A lot of them have cute mohawks. And I'm like, it's like the game. This one to me is worth it. And there's one thing you can do, guys. Go to Switch. If you don't own it yet, buy it on Switch, right? And if you don't have NSO, get NSO plus expansion pack. All these updates to the current games are included with NSO. So with NSO plus expansion pack. And so that's a good way for you to kind of save money on at least all the updates, all the upgrades for current Switch games, right? You don't have to get the Switch 2 version, get the Switch 1 version. And I'm pretty sure that once you play Switch 1 version of Switch 2, they will all come with some type of visual improvement, right? They're not going to be as fantastical as a Switch 2 game made for Switch 2, but they will all have their visual improvements. I think I heard that on one of the presentations, so that's another way. Get as many games on Switch right now as you can once they're on sale, and then you'll have them on Switch 2 as well, right? That's what I'm doing. And then there's so many games that I own on Switch 1 that I have not even touched yet that I'm looking forward to playing on Switch 2. One of them is Hogwarts Legacy. I got it on the Switch, right? I'm going to own it on Switch 2, right? And so it's going to look a lot better on Switch 2. There's other games on Switch 1 that I own that I'm looking forward to playing on Switch 2 as well. What do you guys think?
I was waiting to see if they would say Hogwarts Legacy is an upgrade or no, completely its own SKU, because it is too different and it looks like it is going to be the latter. So that probably opens the door for some titles like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, maybe a Nintendo Switch 2 version.
Yeah.
Fighters might just get an upgrade. I don't know that they would have the need to, but like the 2016 Doom, probably close enough to just get an upgrade.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat 1, a whole new SKU if they were to do it. So like just based off of the engine and based off of how far off and how different they had to develop it.
Yeah.
Like Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4 versions, that'll determine what happens. But I like this method. I mean, if you're coming into Nintendo Switch 2 not having owned a Nintendo Switch, what a time to be a gamer, because you are getting a tremendous amount of high quality software available to you like that. And they're all new experiences, and you'll get to play them better than we did over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And if you are someone that has been around, there might be certain titles that you see the incentive of. I loved Breath of the Wild. Heck yeah, I'm paying another $10 to enjoy that one all over again of a higher fidelity, and you pick the ones that you want, and avoids the one that you don't. And yeah, it's a good method. It'll be interesting though to see, just how many third-party developers go this route or this route. And I'm excited though.
Awesome. Brandon, age of imprisonment. What do you think?
Okay. Joyce's just eyeballing me right now. I can feel it. So I 100%ed pretty much every single Hyrule Warriors game. I love them all to death. All have a special place in my heart. And I know that I think Joyce brought this up too. They put so much detail and attention. I mean, you're going to get the craziest characters. Like we got the Great Fairy, and Age of Calamity just went so far with that, even adding new characters. So I'm not worried about any. I know this is going to be a great game. To me, for one, I know it's going to make people mad, but I am so sick of Breath of the Wild's world and the characters. I'm tired of this era. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to move on to the next story, the next Link, the next Zelda. I know a lot of people love it. Okay,
I'm not mad at that.
Okay,
I'm not.
And that's just kind of where I'm coming from. Yeah, and it was just like I played Age of Calamity, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild had DLC. We had Breath of the Wild, Link, and Smash, and it's just like I kind of just want to move on. I want to move out of this era of Breath of the Wild.
This is the fourth game. Yeah, this is the fourth game with the same characters. You're right. There's a Breath of the Wild, then the Hyrule Warriors on Breath of the Wild, then we have Tears of the Kingdom, and then the Hyrule Warriors on Tears of the Kingdom.
And I think that's the problem too. Is like I did predict, like I told you, I really wanted this game to happen in the beginning. I thought it was going to happen maybe even a year ago, and I think it's just. I also want to see maybe Koei Tecmo work with other Nintendo games and seeing what else they could do. I feel like they're really just like Zelda Hyrule Warriors now, and I know we got like one Fire Emblem. I just finished Xenoblade. And really just got into that franchise. And I was like, man, that could even be a really good game for them to maybe dive into with the Warrior style, maybe a Pokemon Warriors or Mario Warriors, Kirby. And it's just like, I was just kind of like, I knew Zelda was going to appear here because we know we normally get something Zelda every year. And I think I kind of let myself lead into some of those rumors a little bit too much because I was praying for something like an Ocarina of Time remake from the ground up, or maybe even like bringing back Twilight Princess from the ground up or something like that would have been something I just really wanted to see, one of those classic, 3D Zelda games with the classic formula just to have until we wait to the next like big open air Zelda game.
Yeah.
So I feel like having this in the Switch 2 showcase for me at least was kind of like, I'd rather seen another type of Zelda game, to advertise for the Switch 2 because I'm going to buy this game no matter what, day one. And I know Joyce is going to buy this game day one. I know all Zelda fans probably going to buy this game day one for the story, for the connection with the two Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it's Zelda. We're going to buy it. But I think, for a lot of people, it probably got overlooked during the showcase. And for something that, people are watching to see, okay, why do I want to buy a Switch 2? I was just a little confused as to why they chose this game maybe to advertise for Switch 2. I don't care if it came out, like maybe, they had another, maybe the June Direct, they could have revealed this or something. I don't know. I think just for me, I was looking for that, another Zelda game that could have, like an Ocarina of Time remake or something along those lines. But I mean, at the end of the day, we did get Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom in those, I watched the Treehouse for those two. It runs so smooth. The Korok Forest. Butter. So good. And that's going to literally incentivize me just to go back and like go back on my Korok hunting and Tears of the Kingdom and stuff. So I have those again. That's fine.
And we get more lore and voice notes.
Yes, I forgot all about that.
Yes.
And as somebody who actually, I think like it was like a year before Tears of the Kingdom came out, I decided to go find all the Koroks in Breath of the Wild finally. And it's so hard to do on your own. So I had to have like, I think it was like the Zelda dungeon map where I was going through and like marking them off. And I'm like trying to scroll through, like, okay, got that one. This app actually shows you where the Koroks are. It can give you like almost
I'm finally gonna get more than 5 Koroks then.
I'm telling, there you go. It gives you like a little automated turn left at the rock, and you can like little Zelda GPS. I love that, and the little stories too that you get with it. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
My GPS in Breath of the Wild. Like she would sit next to me and be like, "Oh, Paul, go there. Hold on, zoom in on the screen. Okay, mark a little thing right there." that was how we played Zelda together. Like when it came out, she was my dad.
When I got the big guides, I only used them for Koroks, and I was just like, I can't sit here, y'all. I wear glasses, okay? So I cannot sit here and squint and try to look at this book and say, okay, it's somewhere right around like between here and here, and you go around that whole area, and it's like 20 feet away somewhere.
Well,
so yeah, there's a Korok
use
GPS.
this, I use this online thing, and like you click on the Korok and it goes away after you find it. Like you mark it down. And my problem is I got like halfway through the map and I like stopped for a while and I forgot about it, and I went back on the app and it refreshed all the Koroks.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to go through the opposite direction and say, okay, let me start on the south part of the map. I won't recommend that. It's not worth it, but
yeah.
The completionist in me, I had to.
Question. In Breath of the Wild, can you, because I don't know if you can you set an alert on your Sheikah slate to get alerted when you have a Korok near you like you do with shrines?
Yeah, but it's just kind of like you're going to be
way.
running freely. You're just going to be like, running all over the place. It's not really, you can't really mark. I don't know. It was harder for me to do it that way.
There's a certain mask that can help.
Ah, okay. I see.
If you find a certain mask. So
that one?
Yeah. The Korok mask.
Yeah, I mean, I have not 100%, not even near 100% Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom more than Breath of the Wild. The only thing I did not do in Tears of the Kingdom was the Koroks, and same thing with Breath of the Wild. I tortured a whole bunch of Koroks in Tears of the Kingdom, but that's basically it.
Everybody did. My timeline was full of like Korok torture devices, and oh my God.
Hilarious, man! This is the best.
Should have never let y'all build nothing.
Shout out to Andrew Brightwell for the 5. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. Sounds like we need a Ocarina of Time remake to reset a new generation. You're right. I still don't believe that game is even being made. It's a rumor. I still don't believe it. Once it happens, I'm probably gonna, I know Joyce will probably tear up. I probably will. It's Ocarina of Time. I'm still playing it. I'm still stuck in the woods. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop right here. Wait, if it comes out and then continue. I'm playing. What am I playing right now? The Zelda game with the paint that you turn into paint. Yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. I love that. I'm loving that game by the second every time more. But yeah, Ocarina of Time remake. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully it's true. And Boo Mini, thank you so much, Boo. Zelda Navigation should have been called Navi for real. What? You see, Nintendo, come on, for real.
I do want to say something real quick about Zelda, because I always have something to say about Zelda.
Of course.
Even when the topic isn't about Zelda.
Uh-huh.
Right before the Switch 2 Direct, I was thinking I need to get over this need to have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess in my hands at all times. Mm-hmm. I need to let it go. It's packed away at Area 51, never to be seen again. It's G14 classified. It's under the highest clearance. It wasn't coming. But then we got Wind Waker for NSO. And I went back to Area 51 and I got my little hope. And I have my little hope, the size of a mustard seed in my hand here. That because the last time we got remakes, sometimes they put their OG on NSO. Because that happened with Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, don't stress about it, but keep it in the back of your mind that there's always there's still a possibility for a Wind Waker Twilight Princess Switch 2 edition. And they chose Wind Waker. Oh yay, we got doggies, and now I'm totally distracted. Doggy. Anyway, I'm wondering if Ocarina of Time makes good sense, but I'm wondering if Twilight Princess, if they're holding on to that because they really did remake it, and that's going to be the good, happy remake bomb they're going to drop on us next year.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
I would love it. I would love it. And thank you so much, Joyce. That is a perfect segue to the next one. GameCube. I was actually gonna that was our next one because believe it or not, guys, I was so happy. You know how long I've been making videos on GameCube comes to NSO? So long,
very long time.
And I was not expecting Wind Waker to be there, right away, right? I wasn't expecting Excalibur to be there, and then F-Zero GX to be there as well. Those three major games on NSO off the bat. And one thing that nobody is talking about, everybody missed. It's all HD in HD. They've all been HDified on NSO.
I thought so. I didn't notice that to the treehouse. I was like, what? I think they were playing Four Swords, and I was like, I don't remember Four Swords looking that good.
Yeah, and they mentioned that they said that these games have been they're in HD instead of the original GameCube. Yeah, they are the GameCube version, but they are HDified, and so that it's like, yeah, we're getting ports to from GameCube, but since they added GameCube and they look at right now, look at all these games. Look, how can I?
You got Paul Gale of Darkness in there even.
look at all these games. Look at all these games. Okay, they took the HD port thing to another level and said, we're not only going to give you GameCube. So I know you like GameCube games HD. We're going to go ahead and HD every GameCube on NSO, every GameCube game. Okay, and so right at the back, Pokemon Gale of Darkness, Paul Gale of Darkness, right here, the first one,
right here. Totally named Dr. Paul.
Real Super Mario Strikers from a lot of people wanting that game to be ported. It's gonna be on GameCube on NSO in HD. Luigi's Mansion, the original, right there. Luigi's Mansion on NSO is right there. Not making it up. It's not a rumor anymore. Pokemon. Wait. Did you see Pokemon Coliseum at the end?
Yeah.
Pokemon Coliseum at the end for GameCube, and it's all in HD. There's no more need for ports. I know quality of life improvements and stuff here and there like that, whatever. They did mention you can customize the controller any way you want. Right there, they have the GameCube controller, which, by the way, NYXXI has GameCube controllers still in stock. They just restocked. Okay, they just restocked. They got GameCube controllers. This one will be hard to get.
I love this game.
This one will be hard to get. If you can't get that one, click in the link in the description of any of my videos. Look for the NYXI link. They got GameCube controllers in every color. You want the purple, the orange, the I think red or purple or whatever. They have all the GameCube colors there available. And so look at this. Wind Waker HD, but the original one. This is the one I want to play. This is the one I want to beat. The one from GameCube. And so can you guys tell me what were the quality of life improvements for Wind Waker from Nintendo, from GameCube to Wii U? If you could tell me it's the HD version.
I think they did a couple things. The traversal of the water was a little bit faster. I think I forgot what it's called. What Paul said. There's the Tingle maps. I think they made it a little bit more straightforward. There's a couple other things. And it's just extra stinking beautiful HD. Because Wind Waker was absolutely gorgeous when it came out. The colors popped and everything. And so
yeah, so now we have it again in HD. Not only we don't only have Wind Waker in HD, we have I was gonna say why am I gonna say Star Fox? Not Star Fox, is F-Zero. F-Zero, you see like right here, you can customize your controls however you want, right? Which is good. Fire Emblem. Oh, Mario Sunshine was back there as well. Mario Sunshine. So Mario Sunshine came back from being in the what do you call that?
The grave.
The grave. The pack, that pack thingy, the Mario All Stars. Yeah, All Stars. I think let's see here. What other games do you guys want to look at? Oh, Donkey Kong. You guys want to look at that one?
Yeah. Can I say something real quick while you're pulling that one up?
Hey, yeah.
I in case those who don't know, it was around my early teenage years when I kind of got out of gaming, or probably mid teenage years when I got out of gaming because I was too old to play video games, and then I got back into it in my 30s. So I've had the same basic NSO $20 package since NSO started, and I refused. I said, why am I going to pay extra when the games that I really want to play, I already have SNES, NES, anything. And I said, as soon as they add on more, that's when I'll upgrade. I've got all my teenage years back, so now I'm finally going to upgrade.
Awesome.
Ridiculously insanely excited about GameCube. So now I get to go and relive all the N64 days and everything I missed and the GameCube days. So I'm excited.
You know, they might also bring Twilight Princess to N60, so to GameCube.
I hope so, but what my little bit of hope, I told you, the
remake, the remaster.
I mean, I want it remade. I want love put into that.
Yeah.
Dear Nintendo, hire me because you need me.
I'll also say for the GameCube games, especially this, like, it's funny, the ones they showed are like the most expensive to find right now.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to get Chibi Robo back so bad because as a kid, like I had to sell my GameCube games to get new ones.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was just like almost everything on that list is like over, like Chibi Robo right now is like over $300 online. I was like, I'm never doing that. So now I can finally play that.
It's like a slap in the face. You know? So, I mean, that's awesome. Donkey Kong. To me, this is like huge, man. This is Mario level huge. I think what they're starting on is this. What is that? This is the first time I see that up there. Like this, like this world, that water up there. What's going on there? This is the first time I'm actually looking at what is happening here.
So like the whole game's underground apparently. So he's like in a sub level that's underneath the ocean. They said
that is insane.
Going into the underground cavern.
And I mean the open, because it's kind of open world, right? It's you go anywhere. Look at this guy. He's breaking everything. In one of the other presentations, he was just digging straight down, reminding me of Minecraft, breaking everything. Everything is breakable. Everything is destructible. Donkey Kong looks incredible there. I'm excited to see what the story is. Look at it. You take a rock. You can actually ride the rock as. Hey, look at that. You can ride it as a, you know. So, what do you guys thoughts on Donkey Kong? Man,
I like sparkly bananas.
Sparkly bananas, right?
They're so pretty.
He eats them though. They're gems, right? They're not made out of real bananas. They're just like sparkly ones. He still eats them though. He's so happy about it.
It is literally like Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
In every way. I mean, when he collects a banana, it has a little description.
Yeah.
There's even like when you start a world, there's little a description of what you need to do, your main objective. Mm-hmm. There's even bonus rooms with like secrets in the bonus rooms that look just like Odyssey's. It's clear that this is like the Odyssey team's next project.
Yeah.
And that is the one reason why I was like not even caring about 3D Mario by the end of this, because I was like, clearly that game is being worked on by a different team, or maybe it's going for more of an expansive route. This is kind of that Odyssey, open, sandbox levels. And it's a perfect Donkey Kong game. The fact that you can dig underground and just pick up the terrain, like they showed a little sped up version on Twitter where he just destroys the whole terrain and it actually saves on your map. And it remembers everything you destroyed. I think they said even when you leave the areas, which is crazy. That is literally a perfect showcase for that. That is extreme power.
Yeah, I can see here that his first thing he has to do is find bananas there. He has the 3 hearts in the corner. I think there's some balloons there, and then like I can't see what's next to it. Something he collects. Then I
think it's like they even said like there's going to be ways to turn in your currency for costumes. Like I saw a little thing that's like take this to the shop for costumes. So it's literally pulling from the best of Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like we saw him with already like overalls and like a little miner hat. So it's gonna be expansive. But I gotta play him to bed now. So it's time to get ready to head out. But
look at this one. What's your dog's name?
This Kirby.
Oh, Kirby.
Yeah. Hi, Kirby.
Adorable.
Oh, you get scared. Oh, it's okay.
Kirby and Peach on the same stream.
There you go.
Is he a Labradoodle?
He's a mini golden doodle.
Mini golden doodle. Somebody was asking in the chat earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
The only dog I can have because I'm like super allergic to dogs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I had to be very like cautious and like what I got, but he's the best boy.
yeah. Yeah. So Landon, thank you so much for coming up on with us and spending some time with us here in the podcast, and of course giving your amazing valuable input on these games. And enjoy your night. Say hi to the family, and we'll hope to have you back on soon, man.
Yeah, thanks
And
for
you
having me,
deserve
guys.
a
It was
cookie.
fun.
Good seeing you again.
Yeah, and
Always great seeing you.
Landon was a big part of my 15-hour stream the other day. So he came over and he gave his opinion during the beginning of the 15-hour stream. I made it through, by the way, Landon, all the way through.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear about I heard about it didn't save the rest, but I was like, man, I can't believe you made it that long. I was like,
I did, yeah. And then, but the good thing is that X saved the entire stream, so I have it on.
I'm glad because
Yeah.
Oh, good. I could go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I was trying to watch it too, and I was like, where is that?
yeah. So it's on X. I'm trying to find a way how I can download it from over there and bring it up to YouTube, but it's on there. But thank you, man. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Good night, Landon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, rest of the cast, is there anything else you guys want to go over from the presentation? Any game you want to revisit before we go over to the Q&A portion?
A little bit on DK.
Yeah.
And a little bit on the fact of what Metroid Prime 4 is offering. The DK one, I'll just say, when I first saw it,
Mhm.
I thought, oh my gosh, I got all emotional.
Yeah.
This is Mario. I'm
Yeah.
seeing the next Mario. Wow, it looks good. Oh, this is the next Mario. And then when that fist boom came through, I wasn't disappointed. I was potentially even happier that it was DK because I know 3D Mario is a given every Nintendo generation. But
Mhm.
Donkey Kong in 3D has only really happened once, and Donkey Kong in general isn't even a guarantee every console. So when I saw this and just how good it looked, it made me so happy for DK, and also kind of in a way that much more happy for how good my next Mario will eventually be that I'm guaranteed to get. And I loved this. And then I don't know if you want to show off Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, of course.
How freaking cool is it that Mikey disappeared.
Quick, take over the stream.
How cool was it to see that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond?
I left my own.
You left the stream.
I
It's
left
getting 4K 60 at the base, and then an optional 1080p in 120 frames per second alternative. Like, that is so wild. That is so cool. And when you play on Nintendo Switch 2 in general, the graphical fidelity will also improve somewhat. That presentation, or that initial drop, the way they presented it in the Nintendo Direct, was excellent. And then all of this stuff was so cool that this just looks like you are about to embark on an amazing experience.
Yeah.
High quality, nonstop. I love it.
I'm really interested in learning more about Metroid. And 'cause I know they didn't show us everything. The game looks phenomenal. Looks incredible. This looks so cinematic. It's so crazy. Already very immersive, and already makes me excited for a Metroid movie. Look at that.
Metroid's
Right?
one of the coolest things that Nintendo has. Like, you could like Lord of the Rings, or you could like Star Wars. You could like Zelda, or you could like Metroid, or you could like both. They're different elements of cool, you know.
Yeah.
And the Metroid is
Red
the Star
suit.
Wars. The Lord of the Rings is the Zelda.
The red suit. They sold me with the red suit. The
that one.
red suit just popped too hard. I was like, you didn't have to go that hard, Samus.
You know how nice this is gonna look on your
I
TV?
have. So this is going to be. Well, actually, I don't know if it's going to be my first Metroid game, but it'll be the first one that I buy along with Dread. And now that I'm going to up my NSO, it's like it really is time to get into Metroid for real. And even though we don't have to go in order, I've been told it's still kind of better to go in order anyway, so you can understand the lore. So I'm going to be playing, getting into the Metroid games as much as I can. I'm not wild about first person. I'm really not. It's actually more disorientating because I feel like I can only see this, and I like to see all of this.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna give it a fair shot because
It probably wouldn't be advisable, but you could probably roll around the whole game in third
In the ball.
form and just come up to shit with
that's
you.
how I played Ocarina of Time. Just rolled around everywhere.
There you go. Just roll around.
Okay, just roll around. Okay.
No, I agree. I agree that I wish there were that third person kind of backing up and seeing at least Samus, because why give you the red suit if you can't enjoy it, can't look at it, right? Just seeing the cannon. But yeah,
a light criticism, just a light one.
bring out the shade. you gotta bring it out. It's a trademark.
So Nintendo, I'm giving this game a chance because I am a gamer and I want to enjoy new experiences and I want to enjoy what Nintendo has to offer. That being said, Nintendo, you have not sold this game to people. Me making a conscious choice based off of what all my buddies say about Metroid is one thing, but I don't feel like they've given Samus the amount of love that I personally would have liked. Not even at the last Switch 1 Direct, which I understood. So, and I know that there was some kind of rumor that Samus wouldn't, Metroid Prime 4 wouldn't be like one of the highlights of the Switch 2 Direct. So I'm really hoping that Nintendo comes out with guns really blazing for Metroid. Because one of the things I will appreciate about Nintendo, we have a lot of girl power. And and these are established characters. This isn't anything weird. And I want to see this franchise succeed.
Yeah.
And I just want Nintendo to do something surprising or something. I don't know. Just shock Metroid fans with something.
I agree.
But yeah. So I'm gonna go work at Nintendo, guys, and this won't happen again.
And
I got about 10 years before the next console launch.
I agree with you, Joyce, on the fact that they haven't really showed enough to separate what makes this the one different from the rest, right? And it comes to gameplay, at least. The visuals are incredible. That we all expected, right? But like I was looking at the preview, and oh no, are you going inside the building? Oh no, are you going inside the little maze thingy where you see the map and you see the little compartments and like. Okay, it's going back to Metroid, and like I'm looking outside the window. There's all this chaos outside happening. Why do I have to be in here just going through the mazy part and then scanning and opening doors and this to make it to the big final boss at the end, right? I want to be outside in the chaos, just fighting along with everybody else. At least this has a combination of that, because right now you see look at all the chaos. You're in it, and so you're fighting with the Federation there, which is pretty cool. Could have been I'm not sure if there will be. They haven't mentioned that, right? Or did I miss anything? No multiplayer announced for this?
Not yet. I still feel that there are some surprises to come. But there's no word on if there's multiplayer or anything like that. But I think this is a game that could really benefit from it.
Still no release date.
And no release date, right?
Could this be their big holiday game? I was blown away by Donkey Kong being in July. Like,
yeah,
2 title, that's big. Hyrule Warriors is winter, which I don't think they said 2025. I think they just said winter, which means it could go through until like early March of next year, if I'm not mistaken. Kirby Air Riders, I think, is 2025. Pokemon, we know, is later part of this year. Could this be like their big November 18th kind of game? Or are we still looking at a potential 3D Mario? I mean, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but like, when is this thing coming out? And how come of all the games, this we knew was a 2025 game as of June last year. How come of all the games, no release date yet? It's a little bit peculiar.
I feel that's why I feel like there's something more coming, because they usually tell us the release date after they've quote unquote drop the bomb on us, if you will. Because I'm waiting for Samus to have her Breath of the Wild moment, and I think it deserves it. It deserves a shot.
It does. I hope this is only a small portion of what we're gonna see, right? I hope there's more, because what they showed us, right? Remember the initial trailer where we saw this big giant world there, and it looks so beautiful and alive. The landscape and the vegetation, and then far away you saw like this giant bridge over there, and then this big giant tree. And so I hope that we see something related to that, soon. But I love what I'm seeing. Of course, we're all gonna get it. We're all gonna jump on it. I think this is gonna be the first Metroid. I know I'm supposed to play from the beginning. I played Metroid Prime and I have not yet beat that one. I should maybe, but then GameCube also opens the door now to bring Metroid Prime 2 and 3, right?
3 was on Wii, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't they have the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 on? Oh, they don't have it on Wii, right? They don't have Metroid 2 is on GameCube. 3 was on Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so what was that?
Sorry, I was going to say 3 was on Wii. Oh, okay. So
3 was on Wii, and then they released the trilogy on Wii, in which you could own that on Wii U also.
So I'll have to go pull out my Wii and my old television. I don't know if I even have my old TV anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else has anything to add before we enter our Q&A?
Street Fighter Amiibo. Just happy.
Yes, I saw that. There were like 5 of them, right?
Zelda Sage's Amiibo too, or the Champion Amiibo.
Listen, not only did we get 5 physical Amiibos, but we have a whole collection of card Amiibos for Street Fighter. They look amazing, and I'm pretty sure Paul's gonna get all of them.
Oh yeah.
They won. I'm looking forward to finally playing Street Fighter on Nintendo Switch. I say, you know what? I'm gonna wait to this. If it comes to Switch 2, I'm gonna get it for sure. And it's coming to Switch 2. I'm gonna jump on it. And it looks so beautiful at $59 compared to everything else, on the list. It just looks more attractive to me. All right, so we got the first question in. Thank you so much for the super chat, Boo Mini. When can we expect the next Nintendo Direct? Well, on the 17th, we have a Direct dedicated to Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, I don't know. Mario Kart, yeah. I don't know what schedule Nintendo has with Switch 2. This is officially not the Nintendo we know from Nintendo Switch era, and so who knows when are they going to be scheduling their events, right? We'll find out.
Everything is still on schedule except for the pre-order date. The date of release of the Switch 2 has not changed.
Yeah.
Those of us going to the hands-on things, that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I think their tweets are timed and their social media announcements are timed, so that hasn't changed. All we're waiting on is just the pre-order information.
Yeah. And in regards to Nintendo Directs, normally we get them in February, June, and September. We don't know yet if they're going to keep that same schedule for Switch 2. What do you think, Paul?
Outside of the Mario Kart one, maybe June. September seems like a little bit of a safer bet because June is the release month of the system.
Mm-hmm.
So would they want to just take some of the spotlight away potentially from the own launch by showing what's next, or would that only add to the hype to people? Excuse me.
Bless you.
Nice knees.
Knees of the stream. Thank you. Part of me wants to just say old school, do what they've done for the last dozen years. Yeah, maybe June, but it's almost like too good to be true. We just got 2 Nintendo Directs back to back, Switch and Switch 2.
Yeah.
So I guess safe for me is going to say September, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it's June. Oh, well, but then again, there's Summer Game Fest. So if Nintendo's going to participate, because they will have a console that came out like 8 days prior or something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they do that and are there in some capacity and not have their own Direct. I don't know.
Dear Nintendo, Summer Games Fest is a good idea. And yes, you should go.
You should participate.
Yes.
Join the rest of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff might even give you a discount just because he always wants to be here.
Like, be social again.
I know, you know what? That's funny. That's the irony of Nintendo. They want us to be social and play games with each other and everything else, but they don't want to be social with us.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you're right.
It ain't right.
You're right. All right. Next question from Bianca, baby. Hello, Bianca. when do we think Nintendo will decide their prices for realsies? Yeah, that's basically that's a big question. All we know is that they have taken a step back to reassess everything. I've gotten word from behind the scenes that there are some negotiations on. I'm not sure. Again, we none of us know whether what is the real reason for everything, right? But based on Nintendo, they're reassessing the tariffs things, and I just got word during the podcast that they are on a table with the United States on with that zero tariff thing. Like Taiwan, I think, has successfully negotiated with the United States. So if that's the case, that could be good for the United States and for us. And we should be getting. I don't think we're going to be waiting too long for that pre-order date and price, because the June date didn't change. If we would have been waiting long, that way they would have messed with that date. They didn't. They say, you know what? Let's just not do it right this week. Let's take a step back a couple days, and then we'll kind of come back again. And they will probably give us another date. And I don't see a big difference in price unless it goes down. Either it stays the same or it goes down. I don't expect the price to go up.
The other thing I could say is like a couple things we were saying about before to offset this, because thankfully there are negotiations in the background, and regardless of how you feel about certain people in power have a history of business. Oh, wait, that's not even good either. Sorry, I'm dealing with this fool upstairs. Anyway, so what I will say is, if they do something along the lines of, hey guys, these are going to be our $40 games, or 50 or 60 or 80 or whatever, and this is what you're getting with those prices or whatever, then I think that it's fair. Or better yet, guys, we're sorry, we're going to increase the price on the hardware, but the software is going to go back down to 60, 70. That would take a lot of the edge off. But I mean, we're kind of just in a tough position, and so is Nintendo. But I do think that they're going to come out probably either next week or the week after next and say, okay, this is what we're doing with prices, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I understand there's a lot of I'm not gonna call it anxiety, because I don't think anybody should have anxiety over this. Again, like Joyce said, this is gaming is a pleasure thing. It's not a need, So there's a lot of still, I would say uncertainty, behind everything, and so I think everything will work out in the end. I think Nintendo wants the best for the consumer, and at the end, everything will work out. We have a great console. We have incredible games. We're gonna create very amazing moments with Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy Remake. I mean, there's so much goodness that is on our way, right? That I personally would advise, don't let this little hiccup, little temporary, cloudy day get in the way of your hype. Paul, you want to add anything?
No, I mean, is that Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah.
Regarding Blanca's question in particular, this could just be it. It could just be it, or they could come up with something like kind of I suggested earlier. Whether they already had the plan or not, we wouldn't know. But say we're also doing the following, which is our new voucher program. You know what I mean? To make it easier, or our new pay by the month program, or early adopters, kind of like a pre-ambassador program, what they did for the Nintendo 3DS. Our early adopters will also be receiving 3 months in free NSO. They could be doing something like that where they don't get hit hard, but where can they pull a little bit of their money from? Where can they pull a little bit of their loss to not feel the loss, so they can still be profitable as a company, but do the consumers right? Like make the consumers feel like, our voice was heard. We had a little win ourselves, because you want people to feel like they're winning when they buy your console. You don't want people to feel like, I really want this, but like, oh man, you don't want to have a reason of doubt. You want to feel proud. I think most people probably, once they got over the financial unexpectedness of things costing more, wouldn't look back at it and would just have a ton of fun with Mario Kart and any other games and stuff. But it would feel better going in if folks had a little bit more confidence in their decision. Maybe they'll do some like a voucher thing, like, I don't know. Well, they only have 62 days left to figure it out.
For real. For real.
They will, I think.
Yeah, that's why I say that it's not gonna take long before they come back with something, and you know, everything will work out in the end. I think we'll, All right, so I think that's all the questions we got for our Q&A. I'm guessing all the questions have been answered, right? We did a good job with, you know, addressing everything in the podcast, trying to keep everything positive and allow you to know, you know, because I know there's a lot of uncertainty. And it's Friday night. It's best to go to bed on a Friday night on a weekend on a high note in a positive way, because guess what? At the end, we're all in this together, right? And the only thing that matters is our connection to gaming, right? And how that game or that company, Nintendo, has brought this community together, right? We can discuss things, we can talk about the good and the bad, and at the end we can all do it together, right? And respectful. And so continuing the hype, Switch 2 era is upon us. There's so much goodness ahead of us. The cloud will pass, the sun will come out at the end, and it'll be a sunny day for all of us, Nintendo fans. So with that, I want to go ahead and turn it over to the great Paul Gale Force Network. Paul, what do you have going on? Wait, you know, the countdown is done, Paul. What do you have going on now? Is there a new countdown, or what's the new thing with Paul Gale Network on the channel?
Yeah, I started on YouTube and X, as well as like TikTok and Blue Sky and Instagram for that matter, but YouTube and X/Twitter are mostly where I post. A brand new video game countdown series, this time counting down to the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. So tomorrow will go up a new video called 61 Days Until the Release of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Good.
And the whole gimmick of this round is not a different shirt every day in the same location, but it's the same shirt every day in a different location. So I'm embellishing on the fact of Nintendo Switch 2 will be the console that you can take everywhere and experience everywhere. And I will be going to, like, so far I've only done 3, but like one was in the game room, one was in the Colrock Woods somewhere in California. Another one was just outside in the dark. So like it's a different location, not necessarily a different shirt. I'm sticking to this shirt. However, I thought about it. I'm like, I might change this shirt every so often, mostly sticking to the Nintendo Switch 2 shirt, but like maybe throw a third-party shirt, maybe throw a Nintendo shirt that I didn't wear in the original Countdown series. But yeah, it's kind of fun. And that's what I'm doing. Recently on YouTube, I put up some of my reaction videos of the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. And on X, just the other day, I put up a post of like, here's breaking down the price of Nintendo consoles over the years when they came out, and then adjusted to inflation, how much they cost, to show that Nintendo Switch 2 isn't all that unreasonably priced. And even the games going up, when you adjust for inflation, I had to work 11 years. I have 11 years. I had to work for 11 hours as a 17-year-old making minimum wage to pay for Majora's Mask back in the day. In the same store, in the same location these days, I would have to work 4.5 hours at minimum wage to pay for a $70 Donkey Kong Bonanza. Video games have stayed relatively short, and this is in the post if you want to hear more about it on X. It stings more to see games all of a sudden go from 60 to 70, and some games go from 60 to 80. But I've even posted the poll on X, and for me, I'm shocked to see that it's a so 50-50. And I just simply ask. I know, like I'm talking too long in the outro, but it's a really good point.
It is.
What would you rather do? What would you rather have had when Nintendo came back into the $60 equation, because they used to be 60, then for 2 generations they went 50 for GameCube and Wii. They started up 60 again and they never went back in Wii U. So what would you rather have had? In 2012 to 2025, every year, Nintendo's first-party console games go up $1, meaning in 2013 they become 61, in 2014 62, in 2015 $63, in 2016 Nintendo $64 a game, in 2017 $65 a game, all the way, very slow gradual rise to 2025. Here we would be at $73 a game. That would be a very marginal increase that you wouldn't have felt much. But guess what? That means for 13 years, you would have been paying more. And then all of those dozens of games you got being paying more that whole time. Or last 13 years, they stayed at 60. And now it just hurts more, stings more to see it go up more dramatically all at once to 70 to 80. But mark my words, that's the cheaper route than the alternative, which would be have paid incrementally more all those years. That's just the fact. The rest of the world has gone up in price. Gaming has stayed relatively cheap. It's unfortunate to see people have a difficult time grasping this stinks to pay more. And trust me, I'm not looking forward to, I'm not happy. Yeah, I'm going to pay more money. Yeah, but I understand the why. It's finally become games time to go up. I used to pay $5 a movie theater ticket. Now it's $25, unless if you have like AMC A-list, which I do, you know. But movie theater tickets were going up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like all these years. That means I was paying more for movie tickets all these years. Gaming stayed the same. Comic books used to pay $1.50. They've been going $2, $2.50, $3, $3.50, $4, $4, you know, like all those years of paying comics, they've been going up. Games stayed the same. So the sudden jump by 12.5%, 25% is a lot, but it's not as bad as the alternative. Anyways, I'm getting into a whole other thing because like I've been like all day long, I'm just looking at my X and I'm at like 500,000 impressions now and thousands of retweets and comments, and I'm just going back and forth very politely speaking to people, but some get it, some don't. And like I think Landon was saying, or somebody was saying earlier, you're either a shill if you're, you know, fighting for the $1 billion company, or you're a hater. Like I'm just speaking objective truths and then trying to express the reason why, which is not even that subjective, is just objective. Anyways.
You're
That's not going on. Thank you for always having me on the podcast. It's always talking to everybody about everything.
And JC, what you got going on? And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter because I will never call it the other name. I'm at DJ Joycey, and just kind of piggybacking off of what Paul is saying, and just kind of what the air in the room has kind of been. You know, it's okay to be excited. It's a want, not a need. So you don't have to get it day one if you're not prepared, and that's totally okay. You know, let's be excited, guys. Let's be happy. We have waited for this for so many years. I know things aren't perfect. The world isn't perfect, but don't let that steal your joy of, you know, the characters that you've come to love over this time period and the characters that you have yet to get to know. So don't let that steal your joy. You know, things are going to happen in the world, but we're going to be all right. And it's going to be okay. And Switch 2 is going to be so dope. We're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, Joycey. And of course, you find me here at the podcast at the Odyssey every day, Monday to Friday. And of course, Fridays an Intopic podcast. I got over a 15-hour stream for the Nintendo Direct. I did another 3.5-hour stream yesterday, and this morning, another 5-hour stream. Then today, right just now, 2.5-hour stream. I did the 15-hour stream because I wanted to prove something to myself, right? You guys know that my site is not that great. I could not surpass a 2-hour stream without my eyes killing me. I did a 15-hour without a break. I did all that just to prove that you can do anything. First thing, you can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let any limitations hold you back from it. Second, I did it because I want to live stream more, and I wanted to have an extreme so that those regular live streams don't seem so bad, right? This morning, I did 5 hours and it just flew by compared to the 15-hour that I did overnight, by the way, and a lot of you were present. So I will be live streaming more often, at least 3 times to 4 times a week. Aside from the podcast with Nintendo Live Report, some days I'll have Paul with me, some days I'll have Joyce with me. We'll be talking video games, and so it's going to be a really cool dynamic for live streams moving forward on the channel. I just wanted to prove that I can do it. That I can do it. And I had the strength to, and I had the stamina to, and I proved it to myself that I can. So it's coming. Another thing is that I just wanted to show you guys one more time this beautiful little statue that I crafted myself from scratch. Right? I crafted it using Blender, inspired by the one in Super Nintendo World, inspired by the one at Target. Right? Target's the guy with Target. And inspired by the one at the Nintendo store in New York. Right? This falls into fan art, so I'm not breaking any laws. I made only 4, and I have it on my Etsy. It's fully hand painted, right? I paint the entire thing myself, and I will sign the bottom of it. I'm only making 4. That's it. And this is in celebration for the 40th anniversary of Mario, because Mario to me has been, if I go into that right now, the tears will come down and emotional and everything, but I when I've created that, I'm like, man, that this statue means so much to me, and I'm just looking back like how far I've come, right? And I'm just thankful for Nintendo and for Mario for being part of that journey, and that's the reason why I'm here. So, Etsy shop, if you guys want to check it out, I'm only making 4 for now. I'm only making 4 because I've been working on it for the past 4 months, literally 4 months. Hand painting, putting together every detail of it, so to make it look as good as I can. So if you buy it and you see some imperfections, that was handmade. I did it. So yeah, exclusive. So thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you have the most wonderful weekend ever. Remember, we're all in this together. Nintendo Switch 2 is here. Amazing, beautiful games. We'll all start creating great memories with Mario Kart and more, and I cannot wait to start sharing some more content with you along with Paul Gale and Joycey and Josh and 64. Josh, he's out. Send him your prayers and your thoughts so he gets better soon. And thank you, Landon, once again for being part of this podcast. Before we let you go, we got 2 things we got to let you know. We got just two little things here. 2
balloons are going off.
I know. 10 balloons. Never give up. Well, there's more balloons here. And journey on. Let me get some music on here. Bye, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.